Hey everybody, thanks for tuning us in, or shall I say downloading it. This is the One Up Yours podcast for Friday, November the 9th. I'm Garnet Lee. I've got a great show for you today. I have an unprecedented show for you today. 5 folks, 3 of us, I guess that is Shane and John and I, the core. Are you guys good with being the core? Do you like being the core? The core, and across from me, that's Mr. Simon Cox giggling, so we have twice the Brit quotient today.
You know, I was thinking the last time Simon was on One Up Yours,
it was 3 years ago.
It was a long time ago, and
we had tea.
I spilled an entire cup of tea, hot tea, on Simon Cox's lap.
That's right, we had tea, and there was tea spilled, so...
Yeah. I remember that.
Did he have to take off his pants?
He did.
That's why Shane.
It was awkward.
Oh, you blew your cover already, and then the sexy quotient of the podcast has jumped immensely by having the originator of podcasting.
He's saying you're not sexy, Simon.
Yeah, he's implying that Simon is adds nothing to the
He's
sexy.
also implying that you and I are not sexy.
Exactly.
I have to tell you that when Garnet Lee says I'm not sexy, I'm okay with that.
You're all right with that?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm glad you're okay with that.
Yeah.
That would be the originator of podcasting on One Up, Game Girl Advance, world traveler, just recently back from Iceland, Jane Pinkard. Thanks for coming on. It's awesome to have you.
You forgot to mention he's also an esteemed rock musician.
Oh, and yes, and the driving power behind the theme song for the One Up show.
Right.
Part of the driving power. I don't want to knock Eric out. So I mean, everybody was right. It was a group effort. So there you go. Awesome show coming up today. We're going to do what you've been playing in the first segment. In the second segment, along with some message board stuff that I have, John. I still don't think I do the message board thing as well as you do.
All right.
You might have to teach me.
John's not disagreeing. He's like, I see. I can see it.
It's not hard.
It's like good.
Actually, maybe what we'll do is before we do what you've been playing, after I get through with a little quick rundown, is we'll get John to do a critique of the last 2 weeks' shows. That ought to be clever.
Oh, okay.
and quick.
And quick, right. And then also from a conversation that Simon and I had earlier this week, we're going to talk about how the preview cycle is impacting on review cycle, and specifically how games have like this magic line that once they cross, it's the hype snowball rolling down the hill, and once they cross that line, they're golden. They're good, right? They're just.
Do we have some specific games we want to talk about in that context?
Well, we could certainly talk about some games. I mean, I think that you can contrast games like Call of Duty 4, right? Which is definitely gotten a lot. Army of Two, definitely in that group. Assassin's Creed, definitely in that group. You know, they start to build this momentum that gets monumental, and people out there who are gamers have already decided, many of them, how they're going to receive the game. And then we also have the other side of the coin, which is great games that maybe come from indie publishers or are further down the pecking order at the publisher's list of what they're supporting. And can those games ever be a big success? And then we have news in the third segment. So that's a lot to get through. Who's going to start off with? Oh, like I said. So, John, what'd you think of the last 2 weeks? Are you going to be gone for 2 weeks again?
We'll say no.
We'll teach you.
So, do I have to make jokes about sucking off Phil Collins for the rest of the show? Is that the new One Up Yours mission?
You either have to do that or talk incessantly and unendingly about something boring for 3 hours.
Or you could do both.
Or you could do both.
You could do both.
The one 2 weeks ago was a smidge long.
Yeah. It was a hair long.
About an hour and 48 minutes long.
How long was it? It was
2 hours and 48 minutes long.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did anyone listen to the whole thing? I know. I must confess, I didn't.
I was here. I didn't even listen to the whole thing.
Did you, Simon?
Surprisingly enough, no, I didn't actually.
You're not enamored with Hellgate London as a concept?
You know, I was quite enjoying the conversation for about 10 minutes, and then I think I sort of thought, well, actually, yeah, I don't really care.
Yeah, I think if you were really excited for Hellgate London, perhaps you would have
You're not now?
Perhaps you would have enjoyed that entire podcast. But Bill was a good guy. Good sport. And,
when it takes less time to play a game than to explain it, I think you're probably in trouble. But there you go.
Ouch. All I can say is Milky and Roper in the same room is...
Never again.
It might never happen again. Yeah, that might actually be a good idea.
Let's not dwell on the past, Garnet. Let's move forward.
Let's look to the future.
Okay, so looking to the future.
Can I talk about games I've been playing?
Yes, absolutely.
I've been playing a lot.
Talk about games.
I'm going to start really, really small on something I played today. I played Harmonix's game on iPod today.
I hear it's good.
It's Amplitude.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
But it uses your songs.
Right, so what you do is you download it, it's $5, you download it, and it creates this playlist, which is called Phase in your iTunes list, and you just drag songs into it, and I think it does a scan for peaks and lows to work out roughly
Yeah, I
what
think
the
it
rhythm
goes by
is.
the rhythm,
Yeah,
yeah.
It works out the rhythm from scanning the
Is it
waveform.
more successful with some genres like techno than, say, like...
It was very good with Massive Attack, and then it was also very good with Avenged Sevenfold, I found. So, like...
How was it with your Fall Out Boy MP3s?
It was a little bit. I did play Black Parade, kind of a bit. Yeah.
Is that that's Chemical Romance, right?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. Fall Out Boy. Yeah.
Got my emo mixed
Same
up.
band.
Yeah, whatever. They all sound roughly the same.
But so is it worth the $5?
This is worse than a Verizon commercial. It's My Chemical Romance.
Is it?
I was like really surprised at how fun it was, and the music that comes with it. There's a Freeze Pop song, and there's a couple of original things that with it.
My
and
band's in there.
Whoa!
Really?
Nice.
Awesome.
Dealership. Yeah. We
What is
didn't
it?
get any money or anything for it, but it was just like a fun thing to do.
But the
Dealership.
presentation's really nice. It has this nice kind
really
of comic
pretty.
book, like really cool sort of like sketchy art to it. And like if this is an indication of the direction that iPod games are going, then I think it's better than another fucking Sudoku or Mahjong variant.
So does it only work for all iPods? Or is it
No.
for touch and iPhone only?
No, it's
It's
for
not for
5G and
touch.
Classic only.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's no version for
Yeah.
touch.
There's not a touch version
If
yet.
there was a touch version, that would be cool, I think, because
Yeah.
it just lends itself so well, like doing the sweeps and stuff with the touch.
Yeah, so you hit left, you have left, right, and the center button, and then it does sweeps where you have to start at the point on the wheel and follow a rhythm through, and then on hard it's actually pretty complex. But I was surprised by it.
When did you get your 5G? Because someone told me, and you know how, and people immediately going to laugh, oh, it's gone, you got something wrong. And someone told me that there were actually 2 iterations of the 5Gs, and that my 5G, because it was one of the launch ones, wouldn't play games. Is there any truth to that?
I don't think so,
Okay.
because when you go to the store, it's separated into 2. It's everything up to 4 that will play games,
Right.
and then 5G and Classic.
That's
which
what I
are
thought.
essentially the same.
And it always wants to let me buy games, so I've been tempted to buy one. I'm going to try it out.
Yeah.
I'm totally going to try it out.
So I played that, and then yesterday I bought Call of Duty 4.
Oh yeah.
I hear
And-
it's selling out. That's what they're saying.
Simon, you've got to play it. Have you played it yet?
No, well, okay, so I did play the beta,
Yeah.
as we call it in England, and
Really? You guys say
I got
beta?
the shit kicked out of me on 360 on the beta because I got in a bit late, predictably. That's kind of
Oh,
my
the multiplayer.
the multiplayer.
But
and
single player is right up your alley.
I tell you what was right up my alley was everybody's guns when I was playing it on the beta. But the problem there was that everybody was level sort of 14 and 16, and I was like a private first class with the fucking pea shooter. It was a nightmare.
See, everything I've heard about the single player is really exciting. It's new kinds of concepts
The
you
first
haven't
does
seen.
look cool.
First,
Yeah.
I mean, I played the first 3 hours and was like just gobsmacked the whole time.
I've heard that like the storytelling and the narrative and the situations they put you in are unexpected.
They've made the variation they've made on the Half-Life tram ride. They've done their own interpretation of it, but the way that they've handled that mechanic as a storytelling thing, which a lot of people have written about, but they don't write about the conclusion because it's quite a shocking kind of end to the intro to
someone
the
kind of
game.
spoiled it for me, but it's pretty cool.
But this whole notion of you for a couple of minutes being in the president of this Middle Eastern country's body as he's dragged out of his house and then thrown into the back of a car and driven through while it's running the credits, and you're going through as the country is essentially going through a military coup, and you drive past people being shot in the street
And this is all real
tanks
time.
coming
It's all
down.
real
It's
time.
all real time, and depending on which way you look, you see different things, and then the climax to that is just like the whole time through I was just like and it's all that super saturated Three Kings kind of very deserty, like really
Ooh, I
bright
love
kind of
that.
look to it. But then it's pure Infinity Ward. It's like set piece after set piece. If you just have to kind of let it take you on the roller coaster ride and not try and stray from it, and it's really really good.
That's the part that makes it fun, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the part that I thought made it so much fun, is that it totally works.
Yeah, love
Except for in small parts where it doesn't work.
it.
That's the thing with planned games like that, is every time you come into a situation, you're in a very specific sort of setup, right? And you're in a spot that you have to do a certain set of things in order for it to work. And once you do those certain set of things, then everything comes together, and you've played through that scenario, and you're okay. But if you get it to where it's broken, then suddenly it's a mess.
So I played that. I had a lot of first-person shooters recently. Orange Box. I'd never played Half-Life 2 all the way through, so I've been playing through that. And I played Portal. I played a bit of Team Fortress, but then stopped.
Why did your voice drop when you said you played Portal?
because I was looking at Simon because I didn't want to spoil it for him.
Well, you know what? I've only played 16 levels of Portal, but it is genius, and there's no doubt about it. I mean, that game is
it's another one of those
else.
games where, as you near the end, it's just like, fantastic.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to love the ending of that game.
Cake is a lie. It's a new meme.
Is that where that is from? Because I see it on people's message board
Yeah, everything
threads, and I'm
about
like,
cakes and cubes is all
Yeah.
Portal.
Okay.
I
Well,
love
Cake is
about
life.
Portal that they're licensing interesting music
Yeah.
for that game. I mean, people can't stop talking about the Jonathan Coulter song,
Yeah.
you know, and that's just, I mean, that would be awesome if more games did that, if it was a chance for, like the way that indie movies do, for example. Like all of the soundtracks to Wes Anderson films, you know, they just enhance that experience so much.
Well, they do so much in Portal that I think other people should do. There's the commentary points where you go up to the little speech bubbles and you get the stuff from the developer about how they design the level or whatever.
Right, it's like the extended DVD version or something.
There are so many imaginative ideas, and you go through the whole game going, God, I wish other people did this. And I'm starting to think of games where you wish you'd seen that.
That's the deal. They kicked off with Lost Coast, and it's been super popular since then. So, and it gives you an incredibly interesting window into the eye of what it takes to put together a game, especially the way they do it. The way they do it is really the right way to do it, with interest points where you have those icons that then bring you into, oh well, here's what's happening here, and so you get a picture of what did it take to put this experience together.
And Mark, Mark was spooging over it weeks ago, but the writing is just shockingly good.
I was talking to Mark, one of yours, superstar Mark McDonald. He was up in Seattle visiting his friends at Valve, and he was trying to convince them to make a Wii version of Portal. And he says they're close to, they're thinking about it.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
And Eric Wolpaw, the guy who wrote all that dialogue, and he talked to him, and I guess he's really happy with all the positive response he's gotten, and so I think we can expect more stuff like that.
What it does is it definitely casts a light on the fact that the vast majority of video game writing is garbage.
Well, yeah, like how very few games are actually funny.
Yeah.
On purpose.
Yeah. Well, we've had that conversation before on this very show,
we
and
have.
how tough it is to do that. But you talk about other versions of games that are amazing. Call of Duty 4 on DS.
I walked by and you guys were playing.
Stunningly
Really?
good.
I will say it looked really good for a DS.
Stunningly good.
What kind of game is it?
It's a first.
It is?
What?
It's first person shooter. Actually, it's fully Call of Duty on a handheld.
Yeah.
It has the whole deal with like going back and forth between the two teams. It has parts where you're manning guns on gunships, or it has the TV camera AC-130 part to it. Is
there a grenade juggling section? Some of that mini games.
Yes, it has a grenade. No, of course it doesn't have grenade juggling. It does.
There's a bit where you have to blow out the fuse on a bomb.
Yeah, right.
You know, the only DS parts they added are things with bombs. Of course, you have like the little the what is it? What do you call that deal where you connect pipes? Pipes. That was the name of that game, right? So
Pipe Mania, that old thing, like the thing in the BioShock doors.
That's
so
Pipe Dream.
Okay,
Pipe Dream. That was it.
So you have a deal like that when you need to
Crack
arm a
pipe
bomb,
dream.
but there's no timer, so it's pretty much just a doodle thing. And then when you disarm bombs, it shows you a wiring diagram for a bomb, and you have to trace wires as they light up, like you're like cutting out the wire or whatever from the bomb. But it's really, I'm telling you,
like
amazing.
Trauma Center, but with bombs.
Like Trauma Center, but with bombs. I don't like holding my left hand with the D-pad under my thumb and my finger on the trigger and trying to support the DS and then mousing with the stylus. But I can't fault the game. It plays. It's so smooth. So smooth. It looks decent. It's great 3D world. It's not the DS's strength, but if you got a DS and you want to play it, it totally works.
Can you write little apology notes to people, civilians, when you shoot them? Can you actually sort of write them? I'm so terribly sorry.
Bob.
I'm really sorry.
I'm terribly sorry about your right arm.
The one thing that's really funny about it is on the DS version is you have to shoot people like 20 times to get them to fall down. You're just sitting there like unloading an AK-47 at a dude, and he's like standing there going and then he finally dies.
That's because the DS is not as powerful as the other consoles.
That's right, because
Clearly
the DS
it,
is clearly, definitely.
Non-lethal ammunition.
And then the last game, which is a nice handover to Jane, is they downloaded the Mac client for EVE Online this week, so I've just started playing EVE for the first time.
For the first time.
Yeah, I've never played it before.
It's so intimidating.
There's a lot of just leaving it to do its own thing, I've noticed.
Yeah,
you don't really play EVE as sort of just kind of set it off.
Make money for me.
Yeah, you go do that for a couple of days and I'll be back later.
Well, what's fascinating about that, I mean, there's so many things that are interesting about that game. First of all, it's single server. So it's like everyone is on. There's no shards, so everyone is there on one server. It's open PvP. It's open world.
It's like
anything
chaos.
can happen. It's chaos. It's 3D navigation, which took me forever. Like just trying to figure out where to go because you're in space. So in space you can go anywhere, and you don't have a sense of like up and down and like it's just there's a lot to catch up on, and the learning curve I think is very steep on that
Okay,
game.
hang on.
But
I don't know anything about this game, so give me
well, you're a spaceship.
You're a
out in
spaceship.
space, and you can mine materials, and you set up corporations, and you can
Yes, Simon,
make
you're a
money,
spaceship.
And
You're a spaceship.
yeah, you're a
Would you like to be a spaceship? You could be Red Dwarf.
I'm a spaceship.
You play as a spaceship.
Oh, that's awesome.
Although they announced at the EVE Online,
You didn't say that like you thought it was awesome.
but there is going to be a mode. They're calling it Ambulation, which is going to be more of a traditional MMO style, where you have an avatar and you can walk around
Ship with
space
legs.
stations, stuff like
Awesome. I like the sound of that.
Simon.
Like, what the fuck is going on with that spaceship over there? Stop following me. The fuck?
Is this game? Is it free?
No,
Only
it's-
for the first 30 days it is.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
you can get a taste of but from what I can gather, you could spend the first 30 days just accruing shit.
I mean, is it kind of like Homeworld?
No.
No.
no, not at
See,
all.
that was the mistake I made when I downloaded. That's what I was expecting.
I don't
and
know a
boy,
lot-
did I get a shock.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about PC games.
Is it like-
I remember that game.
Yeah.
It's like Elite a little bit. Is it sort of trading and sort of like?
There's a lot of imagine Elite, but without the combat. Really.
Right.
There are some people who are like hardcore PvPers, and all they do is combat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one of them because I'm scared.
Is there much of a social aspect, or is it kind of you on your own?
It's totally social. Like people set up corporations, and they'll have wars with each other where they're like, okay, everybody, we're all going to meet at this server, and we're all going to take down this other corporation.
Don't some people set up these big kind of almost flotilla
Yeah.
combinations of ships
Armies.
and
Yeah.
armies, but where they essentially kind of connect the ships together into this huge
flying shantytown.
kind of
Armadas.
Well, the fascination that the game has always held for me is the politic of the community and its expression through the message boards,
Yes.
and how it actually has become more Second Life than Second Life.
people.
You know what I'm meaning?
People
Yeah.
it's a
really
real-
role play in this game.
Yes, they do. And EVE Online, the CCP has said that they're going to roll out some kind of governing body and electoral system, so that so players will be able to elect. I'm not sure. I don't think they know exactly how it's going to work yet. But their aim is to let people elect representatives who will talk to the devs about what they want in the game.
So did they talk about the big controversy about how a bunch of the people who worked on the game were actually in this one? Yeah, did they talk about that?
They didn't talk about that, but yeah.
You see,
But that was a big
kind
problem.
of that was a big
Wait,
problem.
what are you talking about?
So it's a corporate war in space for territory, basically, right?
Yeah.
And apparently, a bunch of the CCP, the people who worked at CCP, were all members of this one corporation that happened to be in charge of the galaxy.
Yeah, and the
Good job if you can
accusation.
get it.
So it was,
Wow.
If you make
so
the
there are
game,
accusations of cheating, and the thing is, in that game, that's super serious because that's all there is in the game to
Right.
do, right? Like, there's nothing else. It's not like World of Warcraft where you have missions and sort of these protected areas and things. So if they're cheating on that, then it breaks the game, essentially.
But if you kind of grew up with sci-fi novels like, Orson Scott Card's Ender's Game or Asimov's Foundation or anything like that, this game is like the constructs that they're talking about in those old 60s and 70s sci-fi novels, where there's this sort of virtual deep space thing where it's actually people on Earth playing this thing that's going on in deep space. It's like a kind of a game version of what they're talking about in Ender's Game. And it has that kind of vibe to it, where it's very... not alien, it's just kind of it's just so different from anything else I've ever played. But you're right, it's very intimidating.
Is it actually fun?
That's the question.
So
That's
far,
the big question.
for me, no.
It doesn't sound. It sounds about as much fun as moving.
well, it's not
You don't
fun
like
for
moving?
me either,
Not
but
really.
it's incredibly compelling. Because there's so many, it's so deep, and
See, I
there's
think
so many things
hearing
going
about
on.
it has always been what turned me on. And I've always, John, I'm surprised that you're in it. I might actually download the client and try it for a month while you're doing it, because
I
I'm
admit
curious.
that the reason I downloaded it was because I read that there was this Mac client, and it was just like, oh, okay, that doesn't happen very often. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucked me in, because I'd heard Ryan from JFW talking about it.
Yeah.
And be like, talking about mining something so he could build some missiles, and he waited a week for it in real time for it to do it.
It sounds
Yes,
like
it's based on real time.
it sounds like
yeah.
it could be oddly compelling.
It
Right.
is incredible. It's very, very.
It's the
compelling.
stories from the game world that always get me excited. Like corporations discussing how they tricked another corporation into launching an attack against them, and then they had all of their ships arranged in a fleet waiting for them to come through the jump gate so that they could surprise them. I mean, that kind of stuff that sounds like something out of a BAB 5 episode.
Right. Well, people get
wow,
people get
that's
together
really cool.
outside of the game and concoct these extremely elaborate plans.
And that's why the FanFest was so interesting, because it's a single server. They all kind of knew each other, and they were
Well,
like,
right, because
"Oh
everybody
my
plays
God,
together."
That's the girl who used to gank me all the time. I'm gonna go give her a piece of my mind in real life."
Wow.
Like, you don't get that kind of interaction at like BlizzCon or.
Were people dressed up or anything at this thing?
As spaceships.
Which piece of mind was he going to give her? The bit that thought he was a real space pirate. You can have that.
Simon, may I
piece.
just say you have a beautiful ion drive.
I don't need it. Thank you. Yes.
They were not.
The bit that doesn't want to come out of its house, or the one that thinks it's a space pirate? Which piece of my mind do you
Hey,
want?
they all came out to Iceland. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Oh, yes, true.
They were
Yes.
Was it the only city I know? Was it Reykjavik?
Yeah, it
it had
was.
to be Reykjavik,
Yes.
of
But
course.
she did not eat the fermented puffin, which is what you're supposed
or
to do.
or the pea shark.
Or the
as
pea
they
shark.
call it, the shark.
So
thing.
you-
I thought that was a euphemism for something.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
sorry.
No.
That sounds.
It's actually
Simon.
shark.
Hey, I didn't know that was
Have
your
you-
poison, but
Have
that's
you eaten the fermented puffin?
the fermented puffin.
Hey,
So you went to Reykjavik to
Yeah.
the EVE Online Fan Fest, and it was thousands of people?
No, it was maybe 1,000
Both of them?
people. It was very small by FanFest standards.
Mhm.
It was in
And-
Iceland.
But it's in Iceland, and their player base, I think, is like, what, 80% North American or something? So
is it really?
for them to go out, yeah, there were tons. English was the lingua franca. Like, everyone spoke English.
Why was it in Iceland?
Because that's their that's
If
where their
80% of them.
company is
The dev
based.
team's in Iceland.
There's
that's
already
a-
been lots of jokes about
that's
how
an
you
interesting
live in
take on
Iceland
it,
and come
isn't
up with a
it?
game like this. So don't even go down that hallway.
Yeah.
And plus, Iceland has a special, I don't know, there's a certain special sort of alienness to Iceland that
It's a
seems
sci-fi country.
that seems appropriate somehow.
Well, Björk's from there, so
Right.
that's that, really. I mean, it's not, doesn't
Yeah.
need any more credentials.
But does it? I mean,
than
I
that.
assume that it attracts a very particular breed of nerd, right?
Yeah, it does.
I mean, kind of programmer nerd, kind of.
Not many of them who listen to this show and are already wondering why on earth
No,
we've spent this
there-
long talking about
there
it.
are people who don't play anything but EVE Online. Like, they don't really get into anything else. It's very, very specific, I think.
Okay.
Most
Well,
of it. Anyway, we should move on.
We've done Eve now.
We've
Yeah.
So
We're-
the-
So
not,
we're all- we're
not
all-
like I did Eve 10 years ago.
We're all somewhat indifferent, I guess.
yeah,
huh?
I guess so. I mean, I find it interesting. The other thing that I've been playing a lot, actually, is I finally dusted off my PSP to play Final Fantasy Tactics,
Oh, that's awesome.
which is still the most hardcore tactical
It's-
game there
it-
is out there.
It's an excellent game.
It is a fucking awesome
And even
game.
though it is not really an excellent port, I mean, it's still.
I think it's a pretty decent port. What don't you
they,
like
They
about
added
it?
a few new things, and that's cool. The new jobs and the new multiplayer mode.
I
But
think it looks beautiful.
not always.
Come
Parts of
on.
it are squashed. Like, parts of it are squashed. You can tell. You're looking at it like, this has been squashed onto this screen. But it's okay. Like, I'll let them slide just because it is such a
It's
great.
okay.
It's
one
such
of the most universally loved franchises of all time. It's okay.
No, but like, it's okay
It's alright.
they made a shoddy port because they did fix the translation.
It's okay that they made a shoddy
Well,
Yes,
port.
the
translation's
translation
fixed.
is awesome.
It's awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's still a great
Yeah.
game. Like, even the fact that it's a little squashed doesn't ruin it. So
That's
yeah.
brilliant.
I'm completely
Great defense.
obsessed with that game.
I would rush right out to play that right now, except
If-
that. Well, except it's squashed and it's a shoddy
No,
port.
it's really
and-
good. Especially if you've never played through it. It's a must-play
Oh,
for fans.
I've played through that game I don't know how many times. I've
know what we
maxed
needed?
out the
We need-
clock on that game.
We needed Ryan here to talk about the difference between playing the PSP version on the PSP versus the PS1 loader version on
I think
PSP.
that's a little too granular for us.
Little-
And that would also be
Yeah.
encouraging
So,
piracy,
yeah.
which we don't want to do.
I'm not encouraging piracy. You
That's
should
right.
you should own any game that you want to play in any alternative manners. Right?
Simon, what are you playing?
Gray area.
Wait, Jane, we didn't talk about our other big game we've been playing.
What's that? Scrabulous!
Of course.
Oh,
Actually-
on Facebook. I'm playing too. Isn't it great?
Wait,
Actually, the game that I play is Facebook. I am just
Absolutely.
like,
what is
obsessed.
Scrabulous?
What
Yeah.
is
we have to play.
Scrabulous?
I love Scrabble.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
Scrabble on Facebook.
Is it Scrabble meets calculus? I don't
No.
like. I don't like calculus. I don't like calculus at all.
It's just Scrabble on Facebook, and you can play it on your own time.
Yeah,
it's fabulous Scrabble.
Yeah,
I'd kick all your asses at Scrabble.
I don't think so.
No.
I'm a pretty hardcore Scrabble fan, I gotta say.
Are you? Okay, well then you should challenge. Oh wait, you're not my Facebook
I don't have a
friend.
Facebook.
Shane.
Sorry.
Can't believe it.
I barely have a MySpace. Now everybody says make a Facebook. I'm behind the times.
Shane's on Arsebook.
You've outgrown MySpace. Move on to Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook is where the adults play.
Yeah.
But also people are like, oh no, you should move on to LinkedIn. That's the new one.
No. LinkedIn sucks.
Yeah.
But here's the amazing thing about Facebook. Like Ray Musica is my friend. Like for some random reason, the doctors, both of them.
Yep.
Neil Young is my friend. I don't know how that happened.
I got into a long chat with Neil Young about the Facebook version of Smarty Pants the other night.
Yes, because
they're very proud of the Facebook version.
Yes, which I'm like, okay.
Man, you guys are getting casual up in
But
your game.
that's the thing about Facebook. There's such transparency, I think. There's no, you could be friends with anybody and they just, I don't know.
And play Scrabble
with them.
them.
Interesting.
And then it gets really intense. And I tell you, the problem with Scrabble is...
How are the graphics?
The graphics are great because the little tiles look just like they're supposed to. You can turn on the numbers and letters on your board so you can figure out exactly
Although I think
where you
having
go.
the built-in dictionary is kind of cheating.
It is kind of... I agree.
Well, when I would play Scrabble online with people...
Can we talk about Eve again?
Yeah, perhaps we should move on.
All right, I'm sorry. Let's move on.
It is
fucking Scrabble.
You know what, Simon?
Kidding me?
It is only the week when 200 games coming out, and we're talking about Eve Online and Scrabble.
All right.
Did you take the piss out of Scrabble?
Shoot me
Let's
now.
move on.
You took the piss out of Scrabble, didn't you?
Yes, I absolutely did.
That is
it's always deserved the piss
Whatever.
taking out of it. It's an annoying. I'm sorry, it's an annoying.
I'm gonna challenge you when I get back to my desk.
I am too.
No, there's you win. All right, because I'm not playing.
That's a forfeit.
I'm not playing Scrabulous.
What are you playing?
Oh yeah, Simon.
Okay, what am I playing? I'm playing a couple of things right now. The one thing I'm playing is is by Microsoft. It's called Excel.
That's excellent.
Yep, it's awesome. You have these spreadsheets.
That sounds less exciting than Scrabble.
No,
It's a bit more exciting than Eve, though.
Have you tried?
It actually is the thing behind Eve that drives
It's
Eve.
among the most customizable programs I've seen.
Have you tried the
It is.
Alt-Fire on the format painter?
Yeah, I have tried that, and the idea of the game is to put as many numbers in as possible and change them as many times as possible before you want to commit suicide.
And then make them come out positive.
Yeah, right, and make them come out positive. So yes, it's budget time here at As If Davis Game Group, so I'm doing that. But I'm playing Orange Box when I go home.
Which part of it?
Which part of it? Well, I never played Half-Life 2, so
there's another one.
I'm starting
There's so
from the
many of
beginning
these
again. I
creatures.
know.
Yeah, which is why it's so
rediscovery.
awesome
It is
that
awesome.
Orange Box is coming out because there's so many people who.
I never got to play it, and I have to say it is wonderful. Although it has some severe pacing problems. I got to tell you.
Have you had the moments where you've been like, why was everyone so giddy about this thing?
I have had a few of those.
And
moments.
then you get to a point where you're like, oh right, okay,
now I know,
get
right?
it.
You do have those, and I'm sure everyone out there has already played.
Before you whitewash this, what do you mean it has
whitewash it.
some pacing problems? What are the pacing problems?
Oh well, the hovercraft sequence is way the fuck too long. It goes
Absolutely.
on for fucking ever. Forever.
In general, people who...
Dude, I didn't recognize myself in the mirror afterwards. I had a fucking giant beard. I did.
Whatever. The goddamn game isn't even that
Garnet,
I
long.
looked like Ming the Merciless.
Yeah, around the office, people who never played it, who have been playing it, are saying that the vehicle sections are uniformly bad. Like people,
They are not uniformly bad at all.
people don't like them.
They're not great. They're not great. Come on.
Really?
I think so.
Okay.
I was a little surprised that I think it's the highest reviewed game of all time.
Really?
From Metacritic. Like, if you
Half-Life
rank
2 is, or
98 or something?
Half-Life 2 is the highest ranked game in aggregate of any game ever reviewed.
But
and I was a little sort of like taken aback by that.
But you put it in the context of when it came out and
Yeah, it was
what else was out there.
2004,
and-
right?
Came out in 1935. Scrabble, was big, and Half-Life 2
Simon,
was just this. It was amazing. I mean, it was a paradigm shifting game at that point.
This is
Yeah, it
Mr.
really
Simon.
was.
I'm not sure if I know how to do this show, Cox.
Oh, come on, look. I mean, anyway, Scrabulous, whatever. But no, Half-Life
not
2
gonna let
is
us forget.
it's the accumulated sort of impact of the game as you play it. I mean, if you take each section individually and you look at it and you say, okay, this is way too long and fucking boring, and then you have another section that's way too long and fucking boring. But then gradually over time, you have these great moments, John, like you were saying, that add up to and your interaction with the game in terms of feeling for the characters and starting to get the plot and feeling, what are those knob-headed creatures like with the big eye that like penises?
Vortigoats?
Yeah, those guys. Right. So you see like one of those that's tortured in a chair or wizened up because he's been beaten up by like bad guys.
You're discounting the value of having all that. You could not.
No, I'm not saying it's great. I'm saying over time,
I think what Simon's saying is like the game, like it's more than the sum of its parts. It all kind of comes together.
Right. If you take the parts, you can criticize.
And if you disassembled those parts, you wouldn't have the sum of those parts. You have to have all of those pieces working together the way they do.
I don't think we disagree here.
No. I'm part of the choir that you are preaching to.
When you get to the end of that hovercraft part,
preaching's worth 24 points.
Double word score.
Garnet just really loves
H
the
is 4. I'm going to put 4 on the triple word score. Now I'm going to get a double on it.
Get to the point.
What I have been hearing is that episode 2 is the best Half-Life 2 thing there is.
Oh, I don't agree with that. You know what? I just started episode 2, and I don't agree with that.
Really?
No, I don't. The first.
La 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 la. I don't want to know, mate. I haven't gotten to it yet.
Okay, I'm not going to bust that. I'm just going to say the first.
What I'm doing is I'm going to play all three of them.
Half-Life 2.
Yes.
And then I'm going to play episode 1, and I'm going to play episode 2. And that's why I've only done 16 levels of Portal, because I'm like, you know what? Stop this. It's too good. And I get back to episode 2.
Portal's not. Anyway,
he's saving it.
Saving it.
The whole point about your pacing thing is I think you have to
for myself. I think I'm saving myself for myself.
So narcissistic.
Yes.
The pacing of Half-Life 2 makes it work because all of those payoff moments are so much more meaningful because of all the things that have come before them and because of the way it all stitches together. And if you didn't have that, if it was just an abbreviated experience, every time you got to one of those moments, it would just be a lumped set of hyperactive little experience, because you're going to get to some points later in this game that are going to severely test your skills.
I believe you. You know, when you watch a movie, for example, like 2001, if you take each individual piece of that movie, it's boring as fuck. But the overall impact of that film, of course, is absolutely mind-blowing.
I agree 100%.
And it's kind of that sort of vibe. I'm not enjoying every part of episode 2 like to a sort of 10 out of 10 moment every moment, but I am overall being drawn into the whole thing.
There you go. And it's part of doing it. You have to spend time in the place to build that bond. And some of spending time in the place is not necessarily high energy moments. It's spending time in the place.
Do you think they're really going to close it out? Are they going to? I mean, episode 3 is supposed to be the last part of because the three episodes they've essentially said they're Half-Life 3, right? So they have a lot of shit to bring to a close in episode 3. Like, what the fuck is Gordon?
Yes.
I
don't think they'll ever answer that.
He's the alpha nerd. Hello.
I respectfully think that they will draw to. I'm optimistically hopeful that they'll draw to a close this story arc of Half-Life, but I think they'll never nail down Gordon such that they can bring Gordon back as kind of like the universal hero and drop him into any number of situations of their choosing. Because they've already sort of set that up.
Well, I mean, to Simon's 2001 point, he is kind of Dave in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah.
This kind of almost otherworldly symbol.
Well, you know, if 2001 is the blueprint, then episode 3 is going to be like the last third of it. 2001 will just be a total mindfuck.
Maybe it'll be like 2000.
Floodlights and meeting yourself as an old man.
Beyond the Mind Infinite. Is that what it's called? I don't know.
Now I kind of wish I didn't mention 2001. Sorry, Gabe. Anyway.
You don't want any howling monkeys jumping around being in a trash.
Right.
All right, then. Shane? What have you been playing, my man?
Before that, last week I had to issue an apology to Endless Ocean, as you recall. This week...
He has a new apology. By the way, he has hard, cold facts establishing the cheating of this establishment.
Yeah, so last week when I, jokingly had said that I heard that my good friend Talmadge Blevins from IGN had been cheating in the rock band... What's it called even?
The Rock Band Battle of the Bands, in which... The one-up Beard Rock group is in the finals and led the entire competition so far.
Yeah, so I had heard from an insider that Tal was playing on both the Team Xbox and IGN teams, which I said was cheating. As it turns out, that information was erroneous, and he is only playing on the Team Xbox team and not actually playing on the IGN team. And Tal's my buddy, so I was going to clear it up here because a lot of people were calling foul and upset that they were cheating. They're not actually cheating, but they are losing still.
They lost. Plus, they already lost.
We will like Tal.
Yeah, Tal's great.
Tal's awesome.
I love Tal.
Yeah.
So no hard feelings, Tal.
Right. And the fact that they're not winning, it kind of negates the concern.
Having him on drums didn't even help. I'm sure.
And make fun of me all you want. It's not like it's any surprise that Shane was talking out his ass too. So big deal.
So what? Presumably you're in the Beard.
He's the manager. He's like the creepy guy who drives the Partridge Family bus.
Are you playing anything?
This guy's ripping them off.
You're not playing?
Yeah.
No.
So who's in the band?
The band is Nick and Karen singing. Nick's on bass.
Yeah.
Karen is singing.
Karen doesn't have a beard.
It's It's ironic.
Oh, but Nick really does have a beard.
Right.
Actually, he has enough beard
For everyone.
for everybody.
Exactly.
There you go.
Patrick's on guitar,
He doesn't have a beard either.
And Nelson.
and Nelson's on drums.
Nelson is
And he doesn't have a beard either.
Mean drummer. He's talented.
But Nelson could actually grow a beard. I don't know about Patrick.
I'm not so sure about Patrick.
Patrick
Yeah.
could cut some of his fur off and glue it on.
No, Patrick could just will a beard into existence, I think. It's pretty
And by the way,
fake.
watching Nelson play drums on that game is
Yeah, he's amazing.
Because he's an actual drummer.
Yeah.
Like he's actually a really good musician.
he's not just a drummer, he's a really good
Rock
musician.
Band
Yeah,
comes out
it's
next
really
week,
good.
right?
The
20th.
Oh, I thought it was the 13th.
Same day as Mass Effect. Do you have maybe something that I could take from you? Damn it!
Because I want to play it again.
Good,
not gonna-
good attempt. All right.
Let's talk about what we want to
Sempsey's
play.
here today, and he's like, yeah, I got some box copies. I'm like, I would like one. He's like, well, I could give you a green disc. I don't have
No,
one.
well, as
No,
Like,
fuck the green disc. I want
he
the
handed
box
me the limited
copy.
edition.
Right.
He handed me one and said, "Give this to John." So I just,
Exactly.
I-
It's
yeah,
like,
just
Rob,
give it
what do you
to
mean? You come down here.
All right, back to what I've been playing.
All right, sorry.
So
Sorry, Shane.
for the first half of this week, I was still playing my beloved game of the decade, Super Mario Galaxy. It's the best thing of all time. I
haven't played that since like 2 E3s ago, and I
It's-
wasn't super
That's out
same
next
here.
week, right?
So
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
yeah, some Best Buy is apparently selling it early. If you go back and watch one of shows or read things, I was like you. I was a skeptic at E3. I was like, I don't know about this game. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, so when I finally got home and started playing it, within an hour and a half, I was in love. It is.
Really?
I mean, I talked about it last week. I talked about it in EGM Live. I talked about it on One Up Show. It is phenomenal, brilliant. Everyone must play it. I don't even want to like spoil that much for people because it's full of surprises. It'll keep a smile on your face. It's brilliant. It makes me angry because it makes me love Wii again, and I'd been all down on Wii. And
Wait, why does it make you angry to love Wii?
We should all love the Wii.
we should all. I mean, I love the Wii for what it is, but like there aren't that many good games on it. You know that as well as I.
I'm not arguing that. I'm
Come
just
on, you've not played Game Party
Oh God. But so yeah, I beat Mario.
I've beaten it twice.
and Carnival Games, which may end up being one of the biggest selling games of the year.
This is true. So over the weekend,
could happen.
Over the weekend, I finished Mario, but I haven't gotten every star yet, and I want to get every star because it's so addictive and fun and fantastic. However, I have other games to play,
Such as.
such as.
Oh wait, before you go on to something else,
All right.
is Mario Galaxy on your shortlist for Game of the Year? Then it sounds like it is.
It's a list of one.
Really?
Wow! Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and
Because
another,
we're nearing this time where we can start making some calls on what we think.
I
And
mean,
because I know now
okay.
that my previous prediction of what was Game of the Year for me is not the
Right.
case.
What was your previous
the
prediction?
At the beginning of the year,
Yeah.
I was convinced that Mass Effect was going to be my Game of the Year.
Okay.
And it is going to be in my top 5 maybe, but it's not my Game of the Year.
What do you think your game of the year is going to be?
Scrabulous.
Absolutely, Scrabble. No, I so far it's looking like it could be between Orange Box and Call of Duty.
Interesting.
Oh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I'm with you on the orange box.
I mean, not just because it's
The value.
Ridiculous.
the best value
Yeah.
thing
See,
that's ever come out.
That's
Yeah,
the
that
part
was
that
so
kills me.
smart of them.
The orange box to me as game of the year is a value proposition, and I'm just not completely good with it because
it's almost cheating.
well, it's not almost cheating. It's a great deal for gamers. So then you have to look at Portal, which is obviously everyone has said it's a great standalone game. It by itself would be worth buying as a game. And then you have Episode 2 on the top of that. It's an amazing package when you consider. Oh, and by the way, for anyone who hasn't played, it also has Half-Life 2 and Episode 1.
Well, is Orange Box a game then, or are the games the game?
Is it
You know what I
5
mean? Is it-
games?
It's a
yeah,
good
exactly.
question. It's
So-
kind of like, can you pick Wii Sports
Yeah,
as
exactly.
a game?
You can't
I think
really-
it will be considered a single
Because
game.
it's a single retail
It's
product.
like SKU.
But for me, for games that have like made me have that kind of feeling more than anything else so far, Call of Duty 4 is that. Like, I spent the first 3 hours of that game just completely
I mean,
blown away.
And there are a lot of games. Most of the games that people say are in the running for Game of the Year, I have not played. So over Thanksgiving, Christmas break, I'm going to try to play through all these games. But the feeling that Mario welled up within me, like this primal, like I'm 10 years old again, experiencing pure gameplay and design in a way that other games cannot. It's like unmatched.
Wow.
Unfathomable.
I think it's always a bittersweet thing, though, to see a really great Mario game like that, because it happens so infrequently.
Right.
And when it does, you get your hopes up about other people kind of getting it and like
No.
examining it and
Well,
pulling it apart and being
it
able
just
to replicate
makes
it.
the rift even bigger.
Right, and
huh?
it just makes the rift even bigger. You
Yeah.
think people are going to go, wow, we're going to take this and we're going to run with it, and nobody does because they can't, because they just don't get it.
And
like
it
Nintendo
even gives
does.
me perspective on Mario Sunshine, the GameCube game, because even though that was a really good game, it was nowhere near this quality. And
Really?
like,
Because I thought Sunshine was a really good game.
I really
it was
like,
tough,
I
but I
like
thought it was
Sunshine
really
as
good
well.
game.
But
I wasn't a fan.
when you play this game, it really does improve upon Mario 64 in almost every respect, and that is not something that Mario Sunshine did.
You didn't bring up the game I thought you would, which is still the top of my list for Game of the Year, which is BioShock. I just nothing has topped the atmosphere and immersion.
See,
and
for
place.
me with BioShock,
Yeah, I'm just not.
I just
Wait a minute.
I don't want to spend time in that world.
Really?
Yeah.
Really, I
People love that world.
I do not
loved
like that
it.
world.
I thought it was very, very good, but it's not. It's definitely not the best.
It's kind of a
game.
one-trick pony, from what I've heard.
It's an incredibly high quality game. Like the experiences are extremely high quality, but I just like thematically, aesthetically, I just
When I was in
didn't
it, I
connect.
was really enjoying it. But
It's not
when,
a nice place to be.
But yeah, and when I stepped away from it, I had like Jane, I had no desire to go back.
Disagree. Just
Yeah.
different tastes because I
Yeah.
adored it. I thought that the post-50s mod scene, underwater Perry Como sort of vibe was.
These mod
Well, have
scenes.
you seen Garnet's house?
But you know, with,
no, and thank God I never.
What's
will.
gonna
Garnet
be really-
lives in an Art Deco
He does.
utopian
Submarine.
environment.
He lives in an Art Deco
I
submarine.
mean, I think it's going to be a really interesting Game of the Year race because there are like
Yeah.
9 really qualified candidates that anybody could say like this game is deserving.
Oh,
of
I don't think
And,
there's
and have an
9.
actual argument to
yeah,
back that up
it's
with.
very
yeah.
rare to have that.
Oh, I think you. Yeah, I mean, you look at Halo, Mass Effect,
Crisis,
Crisis,
God of War 2.
God of
Oh
War
my
2.
God! Crisis around the
Rock
office
Band.
this week.
Rock Band, Mass
Rock Band,
Effect,
Guitar Hero, which is but Guitar Hero 3 is fucking
no,
awesome.
I'm sorry. No.
Rock Band.
No,
What? Guitar
I am
was
not
a
into the
blast.
Guitar Hero 3.
It's not
Why?
Rock
Why
Band.
not?
It is gross. I'm sorry, but the character models are gross.
Oh,
What they did to Judy Nails is gross. Like, you do not need fucking breast physics on Guitar Hero. Do they think that women are not going to play this game?
Do her
I mean,
breasts-
women were such a
think you
driver
might be in
in
a
the
minority
in
there
Guitar
in this
Hero
group,
and
but
Guitar
Do
Hero
her breasts
2.
swing like pendulums or something? I haven't seen it.
And like the whole groupie system, like it's just, to me, it's just disgusting. I'm not going to buy it. I don't
Groupie
care
system?
about it.
What do you
What?
mean by the groupie system?
Yeah, what's that?
There's this whole new community system where you know, there's all you can challenge other bands and blah blah blah,
Are
and then
you a
there's
spaceship?
this groupie system.
Sorry.
Simon, you want to play Scrabble with me?
Yes, in space.
With a groupie.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have to get a certain score. You have to maintain a certain score, I think, in order to like score groupies, and it's incredibly disgusting and sexist. And it's like they thought, you know what, women are never going to play this game.
Do you have to shag them and you use the control? No.
Some real backstage betties. Wow.
I'm just saying, I think they totally perverted what was cool about the original Guitar Heroes.
Okay,
This is an interesting perspective because all I do is pick up the guitar and play the songs, and
Garnet didn't
Right.
even know there was a groupie
I had
system.
That was a groupie mode.
fully had no idea about
He's going to be late in tomorrow. Yeah.
Boob physics, had no idea. Groupie system, nope, didn't register. However, you know, Smashing Pumpkins, yeah, I'm down with that.
all right, back to me.
Yes.
Sorry, Shane.
So I purposefully had to give my retail copy of Mario to Brian at EGM because I was like, take this away from me because the game I'm playing for review on Wii is not as good as this game, and I'd rather be playing Mario. So the game,
Wow, you need an intervention.
yeah, I was like, take this away because it's tempting
Wow.
me. And the game I've been playing the last 4 days is Soul Calibur Legends, and as you know, I am
You
probably
are
the biggest.
Mr. Soul
I am the
Calibur.
biggest Soul Calibur fan around. I give Soul Calibur 10s. I love Soul Calibur. This
He has a full-length Ivy pillow
I
to
do
sleep with.
body pillow. This is not the Soul Calibur I know and love.
But does she have breast physics?
Mortal
Well, he
Kombat
actually-
Adventures
It's
for
kind
Soul
of
Calibur.
bad looking. He had to convert the Kasumi
Yeah.
one.
Okay,
It wasn't actually
Exactly.
a real release.
Doesn't look so good now. It's kind of scrabulous.
Wow.
he used the marks a lot on her and did a little conversion.
I mean, it even has Ivy in it. It's still that can't make it be a 10. You know, it ultimately feels like a mode you would unlock in a Soul Calibur game. Like,
well, it's Tekken Force mode, right?
right. Imagine Tekken Force as its own game, except, you know, the best way to play this game is to wave your arms wildly. Like that sounds stupid, but
Yeah, it does.
I really did just like wave my arms for an hour, and I got
because
through
I've
a level like flawlessly.
Oh boy.
See, this is the problem with
Yeah.
bad Wii
So-
design. This is bad Wii design. I've seen this, or like Wii games where you can just take the Wiimote and hold it by the strap and just spin it in a circle.
Right, because the way this
Yeah.
works is if you move the Wiimote forward, it's like a vertical slice. If you move it horizontally, it's a horizontal slice. And the nunchuck is like blocking and dodging. So if you just shake them both, you're like invincible. Seriously, you can just like you're like dodging everybody, doing
I want
combos.
video of you being
I was playing it
invincible.
today. I was playing it today. People walked by and were just cracking up because I look retarded. I mean,
You're like you having an epileptic fit.
but you can't sit there and attempt to get the moves to come out, but it's it's a little haphazard and it doesn't really do what you want to do. So it is better just to shake it like a fool.
I have this image of
Shake it.
someone going,
Wow.
Mo, do you have Shane's medication still?
Yeah, I'm flailing on the ground. I mean, it's not it. Well, we'll see.
So there.
Yeah, that's what I've been playing.
That's it?
That's it?
I've been working on a really huge cover story. It's been
And it's going to be epic.
taking
You're
my entire
going
life,
to
which
be
you can't talk
blown
about.
away.
Can't talk about it.
Going to be
Right.
blown away. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up real quick for you. I've been playing. You're going to be proud of me. I've been playing Ratchet and Clank.
Future? Isn't it awesome?
It's so good.
Sorry,
love it, yeah.
It's not Mario. That's all I got.
You know what? Maybe I've become a graphics whore because I love this game. It looks so good.
It is really pretty.
I love the weapons.
It's very solid.
I haven't played a Ratchet and Clank since going Commando, and I forgot how much I enjoyed the mix of weapon upgrading, and platforming in the way they put it together.
The pacing is awesome in this game as well.
It's really fun.
It never makes you do anything for too long.
See, I heard the space sections were overly long and not that fun.
Really?
I got through it really quick.
Really? All right.
Yeah, I mean, I've played by maybe
I think
6 or 7 hours.
Best PS3 game so far, definitely.
Oh yeah, you know what? No argument for me whatsoever. Best. I mean, I'll wait to see what happens with Drake's. But the first thing you have to do is if you get this game, switch the camera right away. Go right. Why did they ever even ship it with the camera that comes with it? The camera.
What's the default camera?
The default camera is this free 3D camera that has that basically embodies every problem ever with a 3D.
You have to babysit it the whole time?
You have to babysit it the whole time. It bounces into objects and it gets lost. You can't tell where you're going. You have no sense of you lose your orientation very quickly. And then they have this deal called Lock Strafe, which is not. It's not like a lock strafe over your shoulder. It just allows you to drive Ratchet the way you would expect him to go with the controls in the first place. And
Why
suddenly
didn't
it works.
They just keep the camera from the previous games, which I thought worked just fine.
Well, gosh, Gina, we have to innovate. It's PS3. We have to come up with some new stuff.
Right, sorry,
Just like
yeah.
we have to have the obligatory, I'm floating in space and using my 6-axis control part, which I was like, wow, this was... I like, you know what, you're right about them not doing anything too long. The 6-axis part lasted all of 10 seconds, and that was not too long.
They just ticked it off. They were just like, yep, put a tick on the box there.
Yeah.
Everybody happy. Great.
How much have you played?
A few hours. I mean,
Are you going to keep after it? I'm actually
Yeah.
I'm going to finish this game. I'm having so much fun playing it. Anyway, that's my big game I've been playing. That and Call of Duty, and I mean,
this week also I've been walking by a lot of people playing Assassin's Creed, and we actually have some retail copies now. And I got to say, I do want to try it out. I know it's a hot topic.
Hot
topic here at the office. And
It's
there's definitely
controversial.
two very opposing sides at the office.
it's
on this
fascinating to me, and this is one of the reasons we're going to get into this.
This is going to segue into the next segment.
Right, it's one of the reasons we're going to get into that. It's fascinating to me, all of the effort that went into creating the image of what Assassin's Creed was, and then the concern over whether or not it lives up to that. Because, I mean, honestly, 95% of the people out there in the world who are listening to this right now have not played Assassin's Creed.
Right.
They do not know what it is. They only have this image that they formed off of advertisements, previews, podcasts, screenshots, and that sort of thing. And it's a very interesting animal. And you brought up Crysis, which is another one that's like this. Crysis amazes me. I have not seen Crysis running in the Games for Windows area yet that there wasn't a group of 4 or 5 people standing there watching it with slack-jawed, just completely slack-jawed.
I only know one person in the wild that has a machine that can run it.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's a CG animator and dropped
yeah.
$3,000 on a graphics card for his work, and that's the only reason he can play it.
That's scary.
That game's going to be awesome in 2 years.
Yeah.
Like everyone's.
But that's the kind of neat thing about them, though, is that they are so uncompromising on their quality that they're just like, you know what, we are going to make the game that we want to.
We're going to make a game that nobody can play.
Yeah, that no one's going to buy because they can't fucking play it.
Yeah.
That's certainly the beginning of the hype line. When we come back on just the other side of this little brief break, we'll get into the rest of that, how it impacts people when they take that game home from the store. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with that.
This One Up podcast is brought to you by the Doritos Presents Unlock Xbox contest. 5 finalists remain. Now we need to pick the winner. Visit snackstrongproductions.com before November 18th to play their games and vote for your favorite.
All right, and if you join us on boards.oneup.com, you have the ultimate chance to be a hero, a superstar, and get your thread read right here on the Big One Up Your show. So starting off today, I know it drives.
Don't do that ever again.
What? That?
No, just that little speech.
You didn't find that was genuine?
A hero, a superstar,
A legend.
Hold on.
legend, superstar.
All right, continue.
Yeah, I don't really want to encourage them, do I? Well, it's fun to encourage them. You never know what you might get. And
Encourage
one of
them,
the
just don't encourage them like that.
I'm starting off with a
Don't
thread
give
that
them false
actually.
hope.
I'm starting off with a thread that has actually been beaten to death, but I brought it up because I thought it would be interesting for us to chime in on it. It's the kind of thing that pops up all the time, which is the latest one was from Coronium, which was games that everybody on the planet loves, but you hate.
Oh.
These kind of things pop up all the time on the boards, but they're interesting for us because I'd like to know, John, a game that everybody else loves, but you hate. Okay, Simon.
Come back to me in a minute.
Simon, game everybody else loves that you.
Oh, I got one.
Okay, what is it, John?
Most of the Zeldas.
Oh. Whoa.
You have no idea in the 3 pages of this thread how many times Zelda came up.
Them's fighting words.
That was the
That's
number one.
fucking scrabulous. I can't believe it.
Is that your new thing now? It's scrabulous.
I think
It is. Everything's fucking scrabulous
I mean,
from now
Zelda,
on.
very well designed game, but because I didn't grow up with Nintendo, and I'm sure you find this as well, in England, the Nintendo platform just wasn't there. So we didn't grow up with this as part of our youth culture. So we don't have this blind faith in whatever the fuck Nintendo puts out.
Instead, you enjoy the Amstrad and the Conix.
There was some
No, they were bowling and they had the cricket bats and bread bowls and stuff.
But what it means is that you can look at them just as what they are, without any of the sort of background culture noise, and they're very. I mean, the question was hate, right? I don't hate them.
Yeah.
But
hate is an
But I
overstatement.
just don't get what all the fuss is about. Wow. You know?
I understand what you're saying, but it pierces my soul.
I chalk it up.
Because you're conditioned. You're conditioned
You know
by
what?
your
I'll
history.
tell you what pierces my soul is the fucking music in Zelda.
See, I chalk this
Enough
all
of
up to
that.
how British you guys are. You get a free pass because you're British. You do. I used
But-
to.
but
I
I-
read
but I
Sega Power.
really- but-
I read Sega Power. I know how you think.
But I really think that a lot of
I really do.
We don't think. That's probably
Yeah.
my problem.
But I think a lot of it is that that people grew up with Zelda and are conditioned to love it unconditionally.
But The Legend of Zelda in 1980.
John, you're full of crap.
Yeah, you're full of crap.
They are not conditioned to love because they love Zelda, or conditioned to
Are you
love
telling
Zelda.
me
Right.
that? I mean, like Phantom Hourglass, for example. Even you conceded that,
It's not the best Zelda.
right? But the outpouring of just if it had anything but the Zelda franchise on it, it
Did
would
you-
have been hammered.
Let me.
I don't think that's.
Let's just set this. Let's set this rest really quick. Wind Waker, yay or nay?
It was all right.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Honestly, I don't.
Seriously, are you fucking kidding me?
No, I'm not.
That
I
game,
liked
that
it,
game
but
has
it wasn't
so much
my
style.
favorite.
That is such a good combination
I wanted
of
to hit him
style and execution.
and his friends.
Are you kidding
Okay,
me?
No,
this is enough. This is enough.
Yeah, this is-
I don't want to get into this.
Yeah, we're not going to resolve anything.
I'm with
but
you, mate.
this.
Oh.
It's,
All right, well,
it's
what else
cultural
do you-
programming.
Yeah, whatever. Cultural programming, my ass. It's not on BBC Three, and you
But
didn't
I'm
see
not.
it.
But I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I don't get what all the fuss is about.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good with that. So, do you want to go next?
I've got to say Final Fantasy, I'm afraid.
Oh, Jesus.
I know.
That's the
I
other
know.
big one.
I know.
You're
I think that might
I
be
know.
worse.
I know.
Simon.
You know what? I'm never happier than when I've got a shotgun and I'm shooting an alien in the face in space. And there's just not enough of that in Final Fantasy.
So
Really.
you like Dino Crisis 3 is what you're saying?
awesome game. Awesome game.
Oh my god.
It's Dynamite. But no,
Dinosaurs, shotguns, bad camera, all
no,
in space.
No, I mean Final Fantasy. I mean, I must admit,
I would
the random battles can. I mean, I know that's changed
Right.
now. But when I did play it, I mean, Final Fantasy. I know, and I'm going to say 7, which is the one that everyone loves. And I did play quite a bit of it, but I got really bored and pissed off with it. I just kind of. I
You
don't know.
obviously never raced your chocobo and bred the perfect chocobo, because
I got a gold chocobo. That shit was
Wow.
amazing.
That was
You know,
awesome.
maybe that would have made the
I
difference.
spent quite a while in the casinos, but
because it does sound
but,
awesome.
I actually think Final Fantasy is more of a take it or believe it thing than Zelda. So I think Zelda's a more surprising thing to come out and say than Final Fantasy. I've met a lot of people who don't like Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree.
but Final Fantasy is going to be polarizing because each individual one.
Yeah, they're all different. And if you don't like,
yes, they're all different, but they're all the same.
but if you don't like traditional
though.
Japanese,
Oh, I don't think they're all the
Yeah,
same. I don't think they're all the
It's
same.
not like
I
it's
think they
not,
are
it's not like
all
Simon
sort of
is
the
like
same.
it's not like
Really?
Final Fantasy has no Breath of Fire. It's not like you're saying that, you know.
No,
Yeah.
no, actually that's true.
Right.
I'm not a huge fan of the Japanese way of
JRPGs.
doing the
Right.
RPG thing.
Racist.
The whole like turn-based million menus.
All right, is
stuff.
every-
Okay, I might as well drop a bomb in here myself.
What's next? You
one
hate
of my-
Mario and you hate.
One of my most beloved and will always be my top 5 games of the world is Eco, but I did not at all cleave to Shadow of the Colossus. Just
I find that really surprising.
Totally
actually.
did not
'Cause
get
I think they're incredibly similar.
I tried to play Shadow of the Colossus like 5 times, and all 5 times I've been like,
I think Gunn is
ew.
playing a safety there. That's not
a safety?
no,
Yeah, I mean,
that's a
are you
that's a
kidding
pretty
me?
controversial opinion actually. Like I gave Shadow of the
Dude,
Colossus.
if I told people around the 8th floor that I didn't like Shadow of the Colossus, I know one thing. Ryan would be over in my face beating
Yeah,
the
Ryan
crap. He would be
O'Donnell
over there going,
would, like,
you
take
motherfucker,
you
I'm
out.
going to kill you.
I mean,
but you just defended at what,
Come on.
150,000
Yeah,
people?
exactly. Come on, get up, and put some opinion on something.
It was.
that's
I mean,
actually
like,
big.
people, there's a lot of the people that bought Colossus loved it, but there weren't very many of
No,
them.
all right.
actually,
Yeah.
let me intercede
fine.
here.
No, hold on. No,
wait.
Let me piss some more people off.
Wait, before you
no,
even
I wanna
start,
piss
I need
more
to
people
tell
off.
John he's wrong. Shadow of the Colossus has sold over 1 million copies. Over 1 million.
Really?
1 million copies.
Congratulations to them.
There you go.
That's great.
So
Wow.
let me go out and piss some more
really
people off,
That's
which
not
is
even
that
quite so.
So Guy,
Are you sure? Are you sure it's not a billion? Because it was
Trillion.
Awesome.
However, it's overrated. That game.
Billions.
As Garnet said.
billions of them. So I'll piss someone else off. How about
no, wait, you can't go twice.
You
Since
can't-
I
you
since
can't
I
go
finished
twice.
it,
Can't
He
go
has to because he
twice.
lamed out the first
since
one.
I finished it, I have no idea what the hype is over Halo 3.
Oh my god.
Oh wow! Okay.
You have no idea.
I've-
You have no idea.
You know what? I played the game the first time. I played it again in Halo 2, and now, by the way, I've been back and played it again in Halo 3, complete with reprising the ending from Halo 1 in Halo 3. Thank you very much. Wow.
On single player, I'm with you a little bit to a certain extent, which is
A
that
little
I
bit
think
to
the
a
single
certain
player,
extent.
The single player is a bit underwhelming.
A bit?
It is.
A bit? A bit? Come on, compare that to
And it
compare
gets
that to
more.
Call of Duty 4.
No, here's the sad thing about it.
Luke's head just came off.
It gets more underwhelming or less whelming as it goes as well.
Less
Less
I mean,
whelming.
whelming.
Yeah.
I like
Whelming.
this.
Yeah.
Correct use of the verb to whelm.
Thank you.
Can you conjugate that for us, my good man?
I whelm, you whelm, we whelm.
How many points would I get for that?
I think you would get a fuckload if you played
Fuckload.
Scrabulous.
Scrabulous.
See,
No, but it
you're
does.
tailor-made for Scrabulous.
It does get less whelming as it goes on.
It's just absolutely, and on top of all that, it dropped the elites, which were the most interesting characters to play against, in exchange for the brutes, who I found just droll and boring. I'm sorry.
Droll.
Were you
Don't get
talking
it.
to them?
Yes, I was.
They're so witty and
very
droll.
droll.
They
Exactly.
simply weren't very engaging.
Just hanging out with them, like
I just
I
don't get
tried
it.
to
You know
talk
what?
about politics. He didn't know a thing. He just
It
ate my head.
It was fine. It was good. And
Wow.
I appreciate there are a lot of people in multiplayer who adore it, and the multiplayer thing is a whole other thing.
That's
But
it.
Halo 3 single player.
I gotta say that's a pretty daring one since it's like game of the year and shit. Right.
It's not game of the year.
So you know what? When we reviewed way back when we had a magazine called Xbox Nation many moons ago,
Which I actually freelanced for.
Me
That's
too.
true. You did. Yeah, a lot of people here did. I'm sorry about that. We
I never
reviewed.
got paid my last check, by the way.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all.
By the way, I think you're due interest.
Yeah, I think you might be, but I don't know
Anyway,
you. Who are you?
go
I don't remember that at all. I know nothing of what you speak. But the Halo 2, we reviewed it, and I remember we sort of came to the conclusion that the multiplayer was an 11 and the single player was a 9. That's why I got a 10. And that was kind of it. It was like the multiplayer is so good, it's out of this, it's off our charts, off our scale. But the single player is a 9, and it could sort of stand as a 9.
Jane and Shane, we're
Jane.
down
Yeah,
to you.
come on, you guys.
Well, for me, I think right now it'd be BioShock. Like everyone is so in love with and I just cannot. I picked it up. I've tried to get into it.
Oh, she
I'm
broke
just
my heart
like,
again.
Well, like, if you
Yeah.
if you think BioShock is an 8, you're like some sort of Philistine. Seriously, like
you are you
You don't like Art Deco lamps if you think it's what?
I just.
Someone,
I
you just don't like hanging out there.
couldn't- Yeah, exactly. I
That's
just.
what I'm saying.
It was depressing. It was,
Damp.
Ken, it's
damp.
okay.
I was like,
I feel you,
where's this
baby.
going? Oh, do you?
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel Ken, and me and Ken, we know what's happening.
I just, I was not interested. Didn't finish it. I played like.
You didn't
couple
finish it?
Oh no. I just could. I'm not a game reviewer anymore, Garnet. I don't have to finish games if I don't like them.
Who here did finish BioShock?
I did.
Hey.
Oh my God.
Okay, who here played BioShock?
Yep.
All of us.
Yeah.
It's in my stack. I haven't
The
started.
part leading up to the final boss fight is fantastic.
Wait, come on. But, I mean, I think BioShock is an excellent game. I can appreciate that it's an excellent game. I have to say that I had problems with the loading and saving, and that's why I gave up. But I also felt it was very sort of dark and sort of stressful.
That's a bit pedantic, isn't it?
Not a very pleasant place to be for like the evening. And no,
That's an incredible part.
I know. But if you, but personally, if you don't feel it, that's nothing to do with the gameplay. That's just to do with you and the kind of games.
This is the key to this whole conversation. Me with Zelda, him with Final Fantasy.
Right, it's all subjective.
Purely personally, I can appreciate that the Zelda games and why people love them so much, but they don't speak to me. And for Simon, Final Fantasy, and I can definitely see it with BioShock because it definitely trailed off for me. I think there's a lot of games where people get to a point where they convince, not saying that you do this, Garnet, because you would never do this, you convince yourself that it's awesome.
Fuck all.
You know what? Silent Hill's a bit like that for me as well.
I
can start playing Silent Hill and I can be into it for a few hours.
If we're on a roll now, some of the Resident Evils
too. I am on a roll. Yeah.
Silent Hill is very. And Silent Hill is very up and down. Silent Hill 1 was fantastic.
I really enjoy Silent Hill, but the whole franchise has huge problems.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I think for me, horror in general is just something that I cannot sustain for more than a couple
We're getting
hours.
old. Getting old.
So, Shane, you got to bring this home.
All right,
Yeah.
Shane.
Close it out. Okay.
Tell us.
First,
What's your
I
dirty
have one
secret?
that doesn't really count because nobody cares,
I'm
but
scared.
I care very strongly about it, which is Breath of Fire 5.
No one cares.
Dragon.
one cares.
Dragon.
Holy
Next.
Wait,
Wait,
you fucking called me out for
know.
some Shadow of the Colossus
that's
shit.
weird.
And you bust some
I have
Breath of
I have
Fire.
another one after this. I was gonna say, like, it's
Okay.
a real point of contention because on the review I was the only person who gave it a low score and everyone else loves it. And like on the message boards on the internet, everybody loves this game. I think
Disgaea.
this guy is good. No, Breath of Fire.
World of Warcraft.
Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter is low budget nonsense. It's not very good. But my real answer is just about every single game Rare has made in the last 20 years. Completely
Apart from
overrated.
one.
Which one? GoldenEye?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
GoldenEye.
I also like Wizards and Warriors and Anticipation, and that's about it.
Well,
Like,
then you like more than me.
I think everything they've made in like the last 10 years is pretty garbage.
Dude, I know
Diddy Kong
for a
Racing?
fact.
Garbage.
I know
Garbage.
I know for a fact
Garbage.
that
Wait, I
Shane
liked one of the Donkey Kong.
Shane is
Garbage.
a closet Killer
Can't
Instinct
remember.
fan.
Garbage.
You are a KI lord.
Everybody who wants KI to come back, I'm like, you can have it. Seriously. Banjo-Kazooie 3, I want to be cautiously optimistic. Banjo-Tooie was a piece of shit. Seriously.
No, I agree.
Shit.
It was
terrible.
Yeah, it was
In your
terrible.
mouth. Terrible.
All right then.
was
So
like-
It was in your mouth.
In your
In
mouth.
your mouth. It was like
It was like the
dead
Stabber.
whale with a side of ass.
on the subject of games that you might make if you had the opportunity, one of our regular contributors, Mr. Yakety Yakety Blah, delved into the whole idea that Rockstar is kind of out there and always doing crazy games. They've been known for controversy. They like to make controversial games and challenge people's perceptions of what they should be making, right? So he said, if you were Rockstar, what would you make your next game? He threw out some ideas. And so
I would finish.
What
I
is
would,
this- what
I
are
would
his-
finish
Let's start
Grand
with-
Theft Auto 4.
Yeah.
No. Don't be a shit. They're
Just saying.
They're finishing Grand Theft Auto 4. He started off with the idea of a sequel to Bully, where you would take the role of an attractive 25-year-old teacher and utilize the same open world philosophy that made Bully and Grand Theft Auto famous, except it's a dating sim for the teacher who's a substitute in high school,
I
picking up high
secretly
school
love
kids.
dating sims.
So the idea here
yes.
is, what kind of crazy bullshit game would you come up with that would be controversial if you could? How about
You're flying a plane to the World Trade Center. How about that
How
one?
about
Oh, that's
how
not
about
so
no
much
no
fun.
pimp
Oh, you're a
game.
pimp.
You're
Pimp
a
the
pimp.
game.
You manage your prostitutes. You
Well, then-
you recruit new prostitutes and you like collect their money and you gotta.
But then you have to have Ho, the game. You just do.
Ho.
Hey,
Yeah.
it
just
could be an MMO.
Yeah.
You could choose to be a pimp or a
It could
hoe.
be an MMO.
Hey!
Oh, I cannot believe you just said that.
Said it.
Oh, God.
Said it, read it, copyrighted
Copywriting
it,
it.
played it, built it, sold it.
Pimps up, hose down.
I'd play that.
Yeah, I would totally play that. Absolutely. And the thing of the soundtrack licensing opportunities alone, right there,
know.
you're banking.
Pretty
Hell
amazing.
yeah.
Right off the bat.
It's hot out there for a pimp.
It is. It really is.
Wow, Jane nailed that almost as well as Vudrix. Vudrix, one of our other big contributors, had the idea of Crucifier.
Mel Gibson is gonna love this game.
Yeah, Mel Gibson's gonna love it. Christ, not so much.
in this thrilling simulator.
He's not gonna.
This is so epic. In this thrilling simulator, you get to learn how to murder an immortal.
Wow. I can get behind that one too. I like
Wow.
I'm sorry, I have this image of it as a Wii game. As a Wii game where you're nailing Christ to the cross with the Wiimote. Oops, missed.
That's actually really. That's wow.
Yeah. Wow.
I did not come up with this
Yeah.
on my own because
Yeah.
I'm just repeating when our readers. I'm sorry. Did I bring you down? Are you a little,
No. I'm fine. I'm just thinking
Simon's
that we.
secretly Catholic.
I am very, very secretly.
That's a whole secret. That's supposed to be Anglican.
Actually, yeah, I am in fact
Anglicans.
Church of England, which is the.
Which doesn't
I'm
mean anything really.
I'm sorry.
They're
it's the-
basically
If there's anyone
Catholic,
out there who is
except with
this, I'm
divorce.
sorry, but it's the biggest bullshit religion in the world. It was basically invented
All
so
right.
that a guy could get divorced and shag other women.
Yes.
Well, there you go. So let me give
Exactly.
you Vudix's.
You know.
Let me give you Vudix's quick design doc here. The adventure begins as you haggle Judas for information on his mentor. Then you get to compete against friends by picking the very best of the whips available, and then the most lacerations.
This sounds kind of
It's
kinky.
very crazy
It's
stuff.
Oh
manhunt.
my goodness.
No, it's Manhunt, but with Jesus as your target. Okay,
No,
finally.
that's not as fun as Pimps and Hoes.
Pimps and
Yeah,
Hose is
Pimps
much
and
more
Hoes,
fun.
I think, is the
John,
is the
do you
killer
have one
app.
for
I
us?
can't top MMHO. I'm sorry.
MMHO?
No, I don't think anybody can.
Yeah.
That's fucking genius.
Pimps
Yes,
up,
go
pimps up, hose
Shane.
down.
Yeah.
We're there. There we go.
All right.
And then you just
And
need to build the
finally-
portal technology with that, and you've got it fucking going completely.
Red Swirl also. This is like the regulars group for us, right? I'm
Mhm.
sorry, John. I mean, you would probably. Am I doing okay?
No, keep going.
Red Swirl brought for us a little theme of when is a game too long, and in Red Swirl fashion, it's way too many paragraphs to read, and we're past all that. But so the question is, when does a game become too long? And he brings. So there's two divergent opinions here on the board. There's first of all the whole side of, well, a game is too long when it gets boring, and games should be however long they should be. And then there's the other side, which is completely unrelated, but draws into how you play a game, which is, I live a modern lifestyle, I have a family, I have a job, I have all these things, I have responsibilities, I only have
I think
X amount of
there's
time to play.
another thing as well, and it's on the creative side, is that if the pacing's all off, if you get to a point in the game where you think you're reaching the climax of the game, and then it keeps going, that drives me fucking crazy. Like when you get into a point in an RPG where you're like, okay, it's building towards a thing, and then there's this sort of what?
See, John, this is a very masculine opinion.
No,
I
it's
think
true.
that
It's a Spider-Man 3
I-
free
Why
endings.
is
Yeah.
it a
I- I-
How many
it's a
endings
masculine
is it?
opinion because he thinks he can only climax once.
I gotta say, I kind of disagree with you. I like it when a game.
See?
I like it when a
rolling my
game has a
eyes.
false climax. And
I'm
then
rolling your eyes for you.
and then surprises
like
I'm
me.
just saying. I'm just saying.
Like,
it's
I
because
think-
John's inexperience
All
and
right,
his
enough with
ability to
your
only climax
sexual
once.
metaphor. I think that Resident Evil 4 is a good example of a game where it has like false climaxes and goes on way longer than you think it's going to go on, and that surprise and
But you
impresses
love
me.
every moment.
Exactly.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
So what was your
I
point?
would
Were
tend
you
to
making
agree.
that as a point for single?
like he said, he doesn't like it when a game like fakes you out with a fake climax.
Right.
I like it.
It depends on how well it's done.
Shane likes the fake climax.
I like nothing more than a
He should do because he's heard enough.
I
of
like
it. It's
nothing. Yeah, I was about to make my own joke. I didn't have to. I was gonna say I like nothing better than a premature climax in a game.
Sorry,
Wow, that was almost like it was scripted.
that was.
Perhaps that's enough message boards.
By the way, Simon, you have completely earned your regular
It's a game.
space on the show. By the way, congratulations. I'd just like to give that to you right now.
Well, we'll
So-
see about that. We'll see what the message boards have to say about that.
So earlier this week, we were talking about hype, and as it relates to getting games to build to their ultimate release.
That was very politely put.
I'm just about to have my ultimate release. Do you mind?
Oh God!
Excuse
Put
me.
your pants back on.
Put your pants back on.
Final
So-
release.
Excuse me.
So
No, actually, I have a comment to make about the length of games.
How long?
What? I
long-
do.
How long is
Don't
too
look
long?
at me
What
like
do you
that.
think? Like
How long is too long?
6 or 7,
Well,
8.
no, and I think I'm just saying that.
These days, the average game is more like 6 or 7.
I
you
think
know?
it's all about
really-
expectation. I think
You're right.
you expect it to be long.
But like
Sorry.
you're expecting
So
6
in other words-
6 or 7,
if you
and you
expect
get like a
it to be
12.
long,
No.
if you expect it to be long and it's disappointingly short,
Oh,
that's
honey, I know.
Well, John-
no, that's a
John,
problem.
you were disappointed with Heavenly Sword shortness. I remember.
I was,
You
yes,
were?
yes.
Among other things.
And there are games coming out later this month that can be can be finished very quickly. Some of the role
But sometimes you just want a
And
quickie.
that's not a bad thing.
No.
But
good.
that's what you were saying. It's about expectation, but it's also about. There's some games that you can play for ever and
Oblivion.
not finish
Who went
them.
into Oblivion expecting 10 hours of gameplay? Nobody. Right?
Yeah.
But I'm playing, Half-Life 2, and I'm about 10 hours in, and I think I'm about 2/3 through. I'm not sure. I'm Nova Prospect. I'm not sure where I am in the game, but I think that's probably about 2/3 through. Is that right? Garnet?
Where are you at?
But Nova Prospect.
You have a surprising amount of stuff left to do.
Right, there you go.
But you
That's
enjoy.
Are you feeling like you're nearly done?
Although the pace,
I would like to be nearly done, I
the
think.
pace will pick up a
So-
considerable amount, and you'll have a.
Okay, no, don't spoil it for me. I'm just saying.
I won't.
It's
Conversely-
about expectation too. Like, what's too long? Well, it depends on your expectation, and it's like what you said. It's like if you expect the game to end and it doesn't, and then it doesn't, and then it doesn't, and that's going to kill the whole 10 hours that you spent enjoying it.
Right.
It's just out the
Conversely, there
window.
are games I think where you get to a point where you don't want it to end.
Yeah.
Like I got like that with Oblivion, where I actually delayed
I know,
doing
I
the
didn't-
last part of the main game and did lots and lots of
Did
side
you finish
quests.
Oblivion?
I finished the story eventually.
You did?
Yeah, but
I
it,
didn't.
It
'Cause I didn't want
I
to.
put it off and put it off and put it off and put it off. 'cause
I am
wanted to
so
draw
impressed that you finished Oblivion.
it out. Because that was kind of
You don't look old enough.
needing to say goodbye. That's the beard. See, it's some grey.
You've been alive long enough to finish Oblivion.
But yeah, there have been a few games. Mass Effect is one like that for me as well, where I got to a point where I'm like, I hope this isn't the end. I hope this isn't the end. Oh, it's the end.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you see, with Mass Effect, it's the girth.
Oh Christ.
No, it is.
my God.
But it is. No, but it is. Metaphor aside, it is the girth because it has as much content in all of the extra worlds that you can explore. Right?
Explore being a very loosely used term.
Yeah, because if you don't play it properly, you don't get the girth.
Well, isn't
does
it
that mean?
always like that?
All right, let's
So-
Let's talk about hype.
anyways.
Okay,
Mass
that
Effect-
was my fault. We tried to move on, and I dragged us back into this.
Mass Effect is
Sorry.
very much a tweener because Mass Effect has struggled to bust through that barrier of becoming a.
Oh, fuck off. Oh my god.
And John was mad that we said Hyman Blaster last week.
So anyway, apparently they don't have enough ponies and saddles in Edmonton.
You just bust through that barrier.
Mass
What were we
Effect.
talking about?
We're talking about hype.
Yes.
Oh, hype.
And how Mass Effect has struggled to achieve that next step forward where you get like an Assassin's Creed, which we talked about earlier, or a Halo 3, or an Orange Box, or a Bioshock, and where expectations suddenly are that it's so
Well,
great. Because
Bioshock.
I still think that
Bioshock isn't the best example. I mean, that kind of was a stealth smash. No one like right
I don't
before it
think
came
so.
out. Right before it came out, people knew it was going to be good. But like a year ago, like when EGM put it on its cover, it was a risky gamble.
We were calling it as a
That's
game that
true.
would be reviewed very well,
Yes.
but wouldn't sell very well.
that
Yeah.
we were,
That's right.
and so it defied that.
Yeah.
And I think it defied that because it did manage to make it over that line. I'm concerned that Mass Effect hasn't made it over that line. I'm concerned that Mass Effect could actually inherit the Bioshock legacy of being a game
The
that's
Jade
popular.
Empire legacy
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, Jade Empire.
wasn't as good.
Yes.
No, I
And was,
yeah.
and was rampantly racist.
Oh, I have no.
Well, that too.
Tell me about it.
Well, there was that, but
Still love you guys, BioWare. Still love you.
Unintentionally, I'm
You guys-
sure, but
you guys rule.
so all of us have been around it. What's the first step of this? How does a game manage to actually get to the point of even getting a chance to be
it's
big?
excellent PR and marketing ultimately that makes Halo 3 being the biggest media event of all time doesn't
but
just
Halo- no,
wait a minute.
that's not
Wait a
fair.
minute. I'm going to lob a hand grenade in here because we are responsible too.
Well, yeah, we're part of
the
that
people
machine.
that sitting in this room are part of the hype machine for these games.
So we're
and
accountable.
We're in it.
So we should have a voice in the community.
Well, yeah, but I just think over time, like we are now in a point where we can do video, interviews, blogging. We can get this whole kind of like sphere of stuff going around a game into this big giant frenzy of stuff, and we can kind of keep that ball rolling. And then the game comes out, and most of the time, it's going to be hard for them to live up to the sheer weight and impact of coverage that we've been doling
But this
out.
is not something unique to the games business. This is true of all media, televisions, movies.
movies
yeah.
especially. I mean, I was thinking about this the other day, like
Spider-Man 3.
right, Spider-Man 3 was really good.
Transformers.
I mean, how excited were we for that? Transformers, Jesus!
Oh my god.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so that's the downside of
Wow.
it. So this is not a unique position for us. So back to my original question, and let's not make this out to be some evil thing of PR companies trying to hype their game. Everybody is out there fighting to get the attention. Everybody is out there representing their game, and there's nobody out there working on a development team. We have a lot of developers listening to the show. There's nobody who's not 100% vested in what they're making.
Right, absolutely.
So where does it begin?
You think all developers are completely vested in what they're working on?
Yeah, like my friend's working on the Smurf game. Not so excited.
Where does the
But
hype,
anyway, let's.
where does the hype
Leaving that
begin?
aside.
Honestly, the hype begins, I think, with us. I really do. Like, I think a lot of it begins with us. If we get excited about something, it starts to get momentum.
We start.
so
we can kick it off, but I think it is when it's out of our hands that it starts to take on its own thing. Something like Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
There's a lot of people decided they really wanted that to be great because
Well, it was one of
they
the,
like the vibe of it.
it was one of the
BioShock
first
had that even
original-
more so.
BioShock was the same.
BioShock had that more so because Ken Levine was seen as this guy who has done these great games that have been underappreciated, and now BioShock is going to be the prodigal son
and
come
BioShock has
home
this
to deliver.
lineage, behind it, like System Shock and
Absolutely.
Like all that, yeah.
This is the same sort of thing that came into play. This comes into play a lot in PC games, like the Thief series always had this because, we're going to make the great game and you're going to love it. Or Hitman also sort of had the same vibe of, people like it, but maybe the next one will be the great one that brings it home and it has popular
It's interesting
acceptance.
you bring up those two because neither of them really ever pulled it off.
Exactly. So that was the reason I brought them up, was to ask the next question is, what keeps them from getting to that point? How do they not get to that point? If we're excited
What
about
point?
them,
What do you mean?
Well, it's final execution.
Simon and I
isn't it? I mean, it's final execution because obviously up until that point, I mean, we're part of the picture. And if we're still hyped for a game right up to when it releases or really close to it, then obviously either we're giving it the benefit of the doubt at that point.
yeah, but let's not be pretentious. It's not just
No,
us.
No, I'm not saying
No,
it's
but we're-
just us, but I'm
and
saying we're a big part of it at
It's
that
how
point.
these things present. I mean,
Right.
we could tell lots of stories about looking at. I mean, not to pick on Molyneux's games, but the way that typically, because he's so passionate about expressing his vision, that everyone buys into what a great collection of
they
ideas
want
they
to
are.
believe.
And they want to
Jedi
believe.
mind tricks.
Yes.
But
Are
everyone
you
wants
kidding
Jedi
me?
mind tricks.
That guy can get in my head better than anybody
So,
in the
so
world.
you
Because he
hear it,
says
and we
all
all
the
write
right
about it, and we all
Said
write
head,
about
right?
what he wants to
Sorry.
do. And then when the game finally doesn't deliver on it, then that's when the disappointment kicks in. I think that happens a lot in games, where games that present really well very early on, and then at the end of the day, it's like, we had to take that out. We couldn't
And
do it.
high concept games.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's
High
a high
concept,
concept,
absolutely.
we can
Yeah.
go, wow, the concept's really cool, and so we're very excited. We give when it's a high concept game, you give it longer to get there. So you're kind of like, you know what, we're going to give it the benefit of the doubt for quite a long time because it's a high concept game. Simple concept games, pretty quickly you can look at it and go, yeah, these guys aren't going to pull it off. But if it's high concept, you can sort of keep seeing it at preview stage and going, well, yeah, it's not quite there, but the concept's so advanced or high or interesting that it's all going to come together at the end. You know, I have to see
look-
the whole thing.
And
you
look
know?
back at games that didn't get this. Grand Theft Auto 3, no press coverage before
Yes,
it came
it
out.
was a sleeper
right, the original.
hit.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
First Guitar Hero, everyone pretty
Yeah.
much ignored it. Well, I'm going to buy a game that comes with a guitar. Nice idea, but no one's going to buy it. And it went huge.
Totally
I mean,
poo-pooed.
there's been a
Yeah.
bunch
Even
of games.
Pokemon,
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of games that suffered from the other way, where they either showed it late or they showed it and people were like, maybe it is a bit kind of. I mean, GTA 3, people saw it, and I think there were a few people that really bought into it. Like Milky really bought into it, and I remember when Todd Zuniga went to see it, and they would call from New York being like, we have got to do something on this game. It's just fucking amazing. And it was so late in the day because it hadn't come together because it was so ambitious. I don't think you see that as much anymore because you see the early concept videos and the Target stuff.
Well, but there
and
are
but-
still missteps like Too Human, like example where like a really ambitious game shown too early, negative reaction, then they're still fighting to try to regain the hype.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question, because you've become now a defender of Too
I
Human
have.
somewhat, right? Because
Yes.
you went and saw it. Will Too Human be able to so here's the interesting thing about Too Human. Too Human built up the hype,
Right.
broke that barrier, became a hotly anticipated game, fell from grace,
Squandered its hype.
and now will it be able
Now because of
to, will it be able to come back?
it has one shot, and that shot is a demo. And a demo is a great new thing that's happened. It's a modern thing, and like it gets the game into people's hands for free, and
Okay.
lets them decide if it's worth the hype. And like at this point, the fate of that game rests on that demo.
So you think that it has an opportunity to come back and cross the line and be a accepted AAA, gonna blow people away sort of thing, but it has to do with the demo?
I'd like to.
Yeah, look at what Skate did with a demo.
Yeah.
Like everyone was writing off Skate as EA doing a Tony Hawk knockoff. Why the fuck are they doing it now when Tony Hawk's on number 8? They did the demo and everyone went crazy for it.
Yeah.
The challenge, I think, and this is a good part of the way games are presented to us in the press. Simon, you said that the big part of this is how well we catch on to it at the beginning. We're increasingly seeing snapshots of segments. We're taking games and they're being sliced into little pieces that we see instead of a bigger picture.
Which is why you've got to be careful with the demo and why Skate worked, because Skate was all about the concept, like how this works, the controls, and you could demonstrate that in a demo really, really well. In fact, like Gary Liu, who's like one of our designers on OneUp, like he downloaded the demo and he said he played that more than any other game. The demo, he just went in there and just started like fucking around, like he just fucked around for several hours on it.
Yeah, because the demo showed
it was all there.
Yeah, it showed you what's different about this game, why it's not Tony Hawk.
You didn't have to unlock any kind of moves or like figure stuff out. It was like you just kind of played with it, and so that was ideal for a demo situation. Whereas other games that are a bit more high concept, might take a longer period of time for you to figure out that they're not really living up to.
But they don't necessarily have to be high concept games. John, have you played Need for Speed Pro Street? And are you satisfied by that based off of what we thought it was going to be? Because I got to tell you, after seeing the snapshots of it and hearing,
I've not played a final copy. I've just played bits.
You were quite excited for it, though.
I was excited.
You know a lot about that series.
I was so excited for it, and the final product didn't live up to that expectation because all we'd seen was snapshots, and in the snapshots, the things that stitched the snapshots together didn't bring it into the bigger expectation.
This is why I'm really afraid of what is going to be the most overhyped game of next year, which is Spore.
Ooh.
I think it's be very difficult for Spore to live up to the hype.
Scared.
Yeah.
Because
That's
I
a great example.
to believe.
Well, when you win Game of the Year 3 years in a running without ever even being playable.
And they've been very dark for so long
I think what
now.
you win is concept of the year,
don't
right?
know.
I mean, that's what you're winning.
We all have faith in
that
Will.
game.
We all have faith in Will Wright. We think he's a genius. But you see the game. You see the game, and you're like, I don't know.
It is so high concept, and it is so. Yeah, I don't know.
John, after everything you've learned, if you were going to hype a game, how would you do it?
He keeps lobbing these things at me.
Why does he keep asking you?
Because he's so good at responding to them, and because he hasn't been here for 2 weeks, and if he showed up more regular, he wouldn't have to deal with this shit.
I've never been here.
We don't care what you think,
thing.
Jane, you get a pass. You're the
Apparently.
You're the honored
Honored living?
Yes, the honored person of the whole thing.
Anyway.
So I think to be not relentless but consistent in the drip.
Yes.
Like come up with a good concept that people bite on, and then to drip feed enough information. And what tends to happen is when people try and do this drip feed, they don't do enough. Like Rockstar tries to do this, and but they break it up the wrong way. They'll try and carve off things like here are the weapons and here are the cars, and you can't do games like that anymore because you try and do a game like a new Splinter Cell like that, and it's like this week we're going to tell you about the weapons.
Right.
But the important thing is that in the last big shift was that when you have a knife, the combat got a lot closer, but to be able to talk about the close combat, you have to talk about a whole bunch of other things, and you can't just talk about the knife.
Games are more holistic, right?
Yeah.
The experience is more holistic. It's about the experience, so you can't just carve it up into the characters, the weapons.
So you need to provide anecdotes, but the problem with anecdotes is then you're into this vertical slice problem, which is we're showing you a demo that's not entirely representative of the experience. It's a slice of game that gives you a bit from the beginning, a bit from the middle, and a bit from the end. And I think it's hard with these really ambitious things, but it has to be steady, I think.
See, allow me to disagree. I think the drip can be too much. It can be overwhelming. An example would be Smash Brothers.
Oh my gosh!
I think that just went on too long.
Like the Smash Brothers dojo, it's just like they never.
It's like a melting icicle.
Yeah, every week there's new stuff. I've seen everything now. I'd feel like just give me the game.
But it's a simple game.
It is a simple game.
I mean, so
it doesn't require
what is there to really get excited about knowing next month, like as opposed to now?
Right. But they space every here's a new character, here's a new object, here's a new item. Like
the key is to do what Rockstar have always done until GTA 4, and that is to know when you're going to release. like a movie. You set a date and work back from it. Not okay, now's about the time to start the PR campaign, and fingers crossed it's coming out in November. They
have fallen prey to that same
But
trap.
that's really difficult. That's something that the games industry really needs to solve. Movies do not slip release dates. When they say it's coming out July 4th or whenever, they just do not slip that. And if games could do that somehow, and I know it's hard because of publisher pressure and all that, but if they could do that, then they could actually arrange an effective marketing and PR campaign.
To Diak's argument that you don't want to preview a game until the game is finished.
Right.
So in a perfect world, the game is 90-95% finished before you start the campaign, and then during the campaign the game is completed, and then there's a period of time where it's just finished and waiting to be released. But the games industry will never do that because everything is so hand to mouth, quarter to quarter, that when it's finished, ship it.
Yeah.
And this is all a function of having to make money because so many of them are becoming now big corporations. They have financials that they have to turn in. They have
and
shareholders.
That's why they also have to cut features that heaven forbid that they talked about it to the press, but sometimes they did, and then they have to cut them for the final build because they're too busy tracking down bugs. And that's sad.
Simon, you get the last word.
I get the last word. Scrabulous.
Scrabulous is the last word. If you come back on the other side, we'll have the news, we have financial reports, we have Sony, we have Nintendo, we have 360 updates, and we even have Child's Play's kickoff for this Christmas season. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
This One Up podcast is brought to you by the Doritos Presents Unlock Xbox contest. 5 finalists remain. Now we need to pick the winner. Visit snackstrongproductions.com before November 18th to play their games and vote for your favorite.
All right, we're ready to dig into the news that will not include in any way, shape, or form Mr. Harry Manback. And then we'll start with Super Mario Galaxy doing terrific at retail in Japan.
People have no idea why you just said that.
I know, it's fantastic. Yeah. It's part of the mystique of the show.
Okay, it's funny that you just said that Mario Galaxy is doing terrific in Japan because other people would try to let you think that it's a huge failure.
What?
Ooh.
Are you kidding me? Media Create numbers out, I think, sold 251,000 copies. Are you kidding me? That's fantastic.
Well, New Super Mario Brothers sold 897,000 copies in its first week.
Whatever. You know what?
But I'm talking considerably more DSs in the world.
Well, you can't say Wii is not popular in Japan. However, you can say that this was only 3 days of sales for Mario Galaxy, and that's a really good amount of sales.
I mean, seriously, this is excellent sales.
When Ace Combat 6 sells 77,000 units in the same amount of time for a console that has a tiny
this is a little too much
base.
information.
Shane,
I'm just saying.
On the numbers. No, actually, I had that highlighted right there. That is an impressive victory,
Right.
isn't it?
It is.
That is a huge victory. Ace Combat. Is that a bigger victory for Ace Combat or a bigger victory for Xbox?
It's Ace Combat, but what do you
Does anyone care about Ace Combat?
Did they only ship it with the controller in Japan, or was
it was available.
No, it's available separately.
Both configurations. But Mario will do much better in America. I would expect it to sell 1 million its first week.
It's going to keep doing well in Japan too. Are you kidding me? It's going to sell millions and millions.
It's going to be big
millions.
in Europe. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
It's going to be absolutely huge.
where those punters hate Zelda.
Yeah, exactly.
They may hate Zelda, but they like that little plumber fella.
Yeah.
No, but
chubby plumber.
It's funny. I mentioned I used to read Sega Power, a British mag, and back then they would make fun of Mario at every possible junction. They'd be like, "Mario's so lame. He wears his dungarees all the time."
And is that what they'd say?
That's what they said.
I'm just a little chimney sweep.
They compared him to. I remember they used to compare him to to Dexy's Midnight Runners. That was like that was a funny joke in British press. Anyway, continue.
Wow, I don't know if I can finish that. But you know what I can tell you about is that there is a new channel coming to your
Check
Wii.
Me out.
It's called Check.
It's like total Stalker Central.
How you do
Seriously, it's like Hot or Not for the Wii.
It is.
It's like, whoa, check me out.
But with your Wiis, Stalker Central for Wiis, what do you think? I think the problem here is that there's not enough customization yet, right?
No.
you got to have more customization. You're going to be able to do 1,000 of the Wiis at any time and all your favorites. Nintendo is going to be able to push them out to you. They're going to run contests.
You know what's really lame about me and about Nintendo?
What is lame about you, Shane? Tell me, because I don't know.
I don't know if we have enough time for that.
I meant me's, not me. I'm sorry. What's lame about me's and about Nintendo is that they believe, Miyamoto and Iwata believe that everything that's in the Wii right now for Mii customization is all you ever need, and other developers.
Oh, not at all.
Other developers, even people who are developing games for Nintendo, have attempted to put new Mii customization things in their games, and Nintendo every single time says, "No, you cannot do that. No,
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 no."
No, I think they say "ie." Dekimasen.
This is a very Japanese thing, though, right? The whole voting thing. This goes right in line with the whole, what's the poll?
Everybody votes.
Everybody votes. This is very much an everybody votes kind of channel, right? It's like the top 10. It's like ranking stores. It's the whole, let's come up with lists and vote for stuff.
It's a popularity contest.
It's very democratic.
And you'll participate, right?
Sure.
All right, we know the first listings of Guitar Hero 3 downloadable content.
Yeah, you buy them in lame-ass bundles.
Yes, they will come with 2 silicone gel inserts as well as Foo Fighters or Velvet. I don't know. I mean, that's not necessarily necessary, but however,
Foo Fighters, okay.
Foo Fighters and Velvet Revolver, 500 point packs. They're also available on PlayStation Network for $6.25. Everyone thought that was really funny, actually, because they actually made them $6.25, which is the perfect 500-point round instead of rounding them off, right? Better, though, is we have some confirmation from Harmonix on the Rock Band downloadable content.
Wildly superior downloadable content.
Absolutely.
All right, so
absolutely some awesome songs in this line.
It is.
This originated with an official Xbox Magazine story, which listed the downloadable packs. However, I want to tell you that we actually got in contact with Harmonix, and they were able to confirm a few things for us. First of all, the packs that are listed here, which would be for instance, the Police pack, which gives you like Roxanne, Synchronicity 2, and Can't Stand Losing You, or the Black Sabbath pack, which has NIB, Sweet Leaf, and War Pigs. They're all covered.
What's in the David Bowie pack?
The David Bowie pack has Moon Age Drake, Heroes.
Moon Age Daydream? You mean Moon Age Drake?
I don't know why. Why
That'd be Moon Age Daydream.
Why does Patrick have as Drake?
Because he's a little kid who doesn't know anything about music.
He wasn't born when David Bowie.
Oh my God!
Was,
this is even better. You know,
he wasn't born the last time David Bowie did something good.
You know what he has?
Hey, watch out!
Sorry.
He also has this popular CCR song. It's called "Fortunate Song."
Fortunate song.
Fortunate song.
That ain't
wow.
You ain't my fortunate song. You know what? There's also a bathroom on the right.
Okay, remind me.
Anyway,
remind me to make fun of Patrick for being a little kid.
Seriously, Heroes and Queen Bitch. Queen Bitch.
Yeah, Queen Bitch is a great song.
Breaking news from Harmonix. Confirmed. First of all, the packs will offer these songs as a inexpensive bundle, so there'll be a discount for bundling, but you won't have to buy the bundle. You will be able to buy all the songs.
So what's the pricing then?
Individually, not announced.
But giving users the freedom of choice, very nice.
So that's like the big news is that Harmonix has leased these. They're going to be available individually. Some other interesting individual songs are going to be out there.
Is the entire album of Who's Next going to be there, as they said it was going to be years ago?
They are going to do albums.
Well, I don't know.
Pricing is going to be a very interesting subject for them to broach because a lot of people are not happy with the Guitar Hero 3 model, right?
No.
I mean...
Well, because you're forced to buy songs you don't want to get the song you do want.
Now, they've kind of fixed that somewhat because at least now you are getting packs by...
the same artist.
Right, so you get...
Yeah, but it's kind of like iTunes should have already overturned that model for everyone, right? Like iTunes is the future of how you should
if you just want to buy one song...
Look, we got in this argument already. I mean, the whole story...
Sorry to bring it up.
No, I'm just saying, I actually want to bring up a point which came up in a thread that we were talking about 2 weeks ago on the One Up boards, which was about Guitar Hero 3 and Rock Band, and I am completely of the mind that I don't even think they should charge for the damn software. I think they should put the software out there and do the entire thing like iTunes and sell you music. There's no reason for this not to be about the music. It's a very simple set of features.
Well, we'll see next year when you're buying Rock Band 2 and Guitar Hero 4.
I don't want to buy Rock Band 2 and Guitar Hero 4. Look at the damn games.
But you will.
I know, but they're all basically the same game.
Yeah.
There is a chart with note track that comes by and goes by a tempo line, and I hit some buttons.
It's called Madden. It's called Rock Band. It's annualized.
It's very irritating, isn't it? Anyway, there you go, individuals. Okay. So,
cool.
Moving right along, Ubisoft is aiming for Nintendo quality because they would like to make as much money as Nintendo. Nintendo is making a lot of money, no big surprise.
Maybe Ubisoft should come up with a platform. I mean,
the Ubisoft game machine.
But I gotta say,
don't know.
whenever anybody announces, you know what, we're gonna make games as good as Nintendo first party, you know my answer is to you? It's nice to want things. It really is. Real nice to want things, kids.
Oh my God, you're so cold. Okay, so
Sorry.
Yves Guillemot stated, who is the Ubisoft CEO, stated that they currently have it. And I want you to
wait, Giannis?
no. Yves.
Yeah.
Yves. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yves Guillemot.
Yves
Guillemot.
Yves Guillemot.
Okay, sorry.
All right, so he.
Giannis Mollett is the head of the Montreal.
Right.
No. This is all of
Okay.
Ubisoft. It's the whole thing.
Oh, it's the French people.
It's the
yes.
French people.
D'accord.
And he says that they have 400 to 500 people dedicated to Wii development.
That is a lot of people.
Wait a minute. Wasn't the whole idea of Wii that we were not going to have such large teams? And
That's
we were gonna
50 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
That's probably a lot of games. It's probably not. They're probably not working on one game.
And are
Although
they all,
that said, there were 400 people working on Splinter Cell last time I heard.
Wow.
Yeah.
400.
Yeah.
That's a staggering number, and that's not the Shanghai
That's
team.
Another
That-
50 hidden in the shadows.
That
you didn't even
isn't
know
that
about.
isn't uncommon for AAA releases
Yeah.
these days.
Particularly
400, really?
when you have QA and test involved as well, it gets up there.
Well, and external
Wow.
Yeah.
studios. Yeah.
That's pretty outrageous. Anyway, he continued to prognosticate that they would continue to do well with no limit to the growth of the Wii, and he also went on to say that Are you surprised? What are you laughing about?
Nothing.
No limit to the growth of the
Simon was
Wii.
making it
Simon, you're
Wii growth.
It was a
Nothing.
It
I'm
was
sorry. I'm sorry.
dick joke.
Simon.
Oh.
I just think there's no limit to the growth of my Wii. I think that's fucking awesome. Carry on. I'm French.
Would you like a gitan?
They get upset when we say things like that.
They
Yes.
do. Anyway, and he also
That's
said
true.
that
They do.
Well, then they shouldn't have named it the Wii.
No, when,
And in
when you
defense-
call them French.
Ah.
Oh, right.
in defense of a item that you brought up about third-party publishers putting a lot of pressure on Sony to change prices, he pulled.
I did?
Wasn't you and I who had the conversation 3 shows ago about how it was EA and other publishers that were putting pressure?
Oh, I thought you meant today.
No,
Sorry.
in prior shows. You have to stick with the program here.
My continuity is screwed up.
Eve
Do you
told
feel
the
like
line.
they're just kind of getting on with it over there and we're not really
Continue.
a part of it anymore?
Pray continue.
He toed the line and said that the PS3 with the price change is now a very affordable machine. Very affordable. Unfortunately for our friends
For
at
whom?
For people who have
I don't know.
$400.
That would be a good question. For whom?
I
People-
don't have one.
For people that have $400, it's
highly-
very affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah, highly
Yes,
paid
it is.
professionals.
A lot of things are affordable if you have the money.
I'd rather buy 2 more pairs of boots with $400.
Those are-
By the way,
those
Jane
are
has some
great.
fantastic.
You know
Those
what?
are
I
sexy
think we would
boots.
rather you bought 2 more pairs of boots.
I would
if you had
fully rather she
$400.
bought
I'm
2
just
more pairs of
saying.
boots.
Yeah.
I want to get some more boots. I want to get some of those. What are they called?
You
Are
would
they-
not look good in those boots.
No, not her boots. I want to get some. What are they? Are they?
No, you
what
would
is
not
that?
look
No.
good in
Is
those
it
boots.
Robert Nason? Is that the
I
name?
mean, Garnet,
don't know,
Garnet-
but-
It's the name of the guy, right? Who makes the fantastic
veering
boots?
very
Oh, I
far
don't-
off.
well,
I don't know.
you've seen
Yes,
his, you've seen his
let's-
designer shoes.
I have, yes.
Let's.
Anyway,
Anyway, yes.
someone who for whom
PS3
this is
affordable.
a
Yes.
company for whom this is coming way too late would be Atari, which is
Oh,
very
yeah.
unfortunate because we've seen up and downs. And look, let's.
It's
be-
sad.
It is sad.
It is a sad day. No, it is. That
I mean, Atari is now
it's
basically
a
the.
venerable brand.
But you're
But
sad.
it's a brand that Infogram
Yeah,
acquired.
your sadness is misplaced if it's sadness for Atari. If it's
Yeah.
sadness for Infogram and their cute little armadillo
Because
mascot.
Atari
you know.
died
I
a
used-
long time
I
ago.
used to love Infogram. I did.
Yeah,
I used to love
they were
Infogram.
cool.
Are you saying you don't like
File.
armadillos?
I love armadillos.
I like armadillos. Armadillos are fantastic, especially when
Atari-
they're rainbow-colored swirls.
The Atari brand's one of those storied brands that I think people over the years have mistakenly kind of played hot potato with, thinking that it will bring some kind of
Make your games better.
yeah. But it
Well-
was like,
Slap that name on
Well,
it.
they're like in Blade Runner, the Atari logo was everywhere. So
But it-
obviously the future
but
is bright for Atari.
there was this desire to think that it was up there with Nintendo and Sega as this sort of storied, like, of historical significance. I think that's why, like, I mean, didn't Hasbro own it for a while?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and that's who Infogram acquired it from. And I think throughout the whole thing, it's just been it has just been slapped on things, hoping that people will get this sort of romantic, historical nostalgia for it, and it never worked. And they were banging out some crap with that label on it. Come on.
Well, there's
Absolutely.
a number of problems that have ensued progressively over the course of their history from the time that you're talking about when they were at Atari through Hasbro and then through the Infogrames label. I mean, the whole Matrix and Dave Perry and
I
Shiny.
just think it's
that
sad that
didn't work out
something
so
yet
well.
again with the Atari label on it is kind of
Yeah.
looks like it's going, it's
So
going under.
But
here's
now
where
this
they
time,
are now.
Do you think anyone else is going to pick it up now? Because
I've
that's the sad
I've
thing.
always
It's
thought-
probably really is dead.
Yeah, I've
now.
always thought EA could.
Maybe it should be dead then.
I thought EA could pick it up.
could
EA
buy it.
Why would
And
why
they
would
could
EA
just
want
brand
that?
their casual games as Atari.
Or like the retro games or
Something.
something. Yeah.
If they could get it on the cheap, which I think they might be able to.
Yeah.
And then they can make Sims to beat.
And EA has some
You know,
money
it
to
looks,
spare.
Sims to be would be fantastic.
It looks fucking great on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
yeah.
does.
It's a cool logo.
It
It's
does.
hot.
Maybe
The Atari
that's
logo.
where
You can use the
maybe
Atari
that's-
logo as an
Maybe that's
A.
where we're at
Well,
with
so
it at this point.
how was their financial report? How dismal was it?
Let's just put it this way. Top executives said, and this is actually a quote, substantial doubt now remains about their ability to continue as a going concern.
Oof.
In other words, they're done. It's very sad.
I'm concerned. My
It is very
concern
sad.
is going.
And and Funimation is pulling their last big license, which is Dragon Ball Z. And I don't even know how big Dragon Ball Z is. You guys tell me Naruto
still
is
a very
bigger now.
Dude, Dragon Ball Z does
Yeah.
really well.
DBZ is a very,
It's very bizarre,
lucrative,
but-
and it's the only reason Atari has lasted as long as
And
it
Yeah.
lost in the shuffle of these papers is, by the way, somewhere out there is Alone in the Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Like we are right now.
Oh.
Gordon, we're alone in this.
Yeah, the lights went out here.
We're not alone. There's 5 of us here. We're safe.
We're,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we're,
Look, I have a light. No
I'll go out and get help.
no grooves.
If I'm not back.
No, then
Yeah.
you'll be lost.
sorry.
I know what happens when that.
I know.
No, we can't let you go.
we wish everyone at Atari the best.
We'll send Simon.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, let's split up.
Let's
Yeah,
all
Great
sign-
idea.
let's all split up.
Yeah.
Let's send Simon. He's a bit of a git anyway. Anyway, we have.
Oh, wow.
What does that mean exactly?
Does he know who you are?
Thanks. Yeah, do you know who I am?
Yeah.
You're
Do you know who I
fired,
am?
etc.
Do you know who I am?
I can't believe you
I
just
am.
called Simon a git on national broadcast.
No, you know, he's right though. I am kind of a kid.
Oh, okay.
It's actually
See,
quite
he
accurate.
knows.
I didn't know you knew me that well.
And he's looking for
It's
someone
nice
to go
know.
with him to see BT on Saturday anyway. Are we going?
BT's playing?
BT is playing.
Absolutely.
you
Temple,
didn't,
around the corner.
you didn't come
Wanna
to my concert. I
We're
invited
going to see BT. Are you going to BT Friday night? Saturday night?
Maybe.
Yeah, you should
Guys.
go. We'll go.
Yeah, we
It'll be fun.
What's the next
I think we
news
might be
Next thing
wandering
is-
again. Was there a point?
Oh, yeah,
Did we just wander from
Atari.
it?
Moving right along.
Moving right along.
Moving right along.
On the LOL news front, Target has suddenly decided that because people could hack a PS2 and if they had a chipped PS2, play a burned copy of Manhunt 2 that had the illicit
PSP,
content.
You're,
right?
you're wrong. It's the PSP version.
It's a PSP version?
Yeah, you're
PSP
wrong.
version, yeah.
PSP.
I'm so over Manhunt 2. It's not even that great. Why is
It's
anybody worried about it?
Controversial.
I don't know. I thought the first Manhunt was fucking amazing.
What did you? Oh, hold on.
Well,
Hold on.
but most of the cool stuff
It
about that
was
is not in the second one.
just-
No, wait. What did you like about the first Manhunt?
Well, I didn't like it. That was the thing. But it was the first video game that really compelled me without my liking it at all.
Really?
Like I hated it, but I was like, oh my god, this game is trying to make me feel what it's like to be a sociopathic killer.
Did it
And-
work? It
and
totally worked.
It was just incredible.
Did you play with a headset?
No.
Oh, no one has. Why has no one
Sorry.
played? Shane, why has no one played with the headset?
But
You ever play with a
anyways-
headset?
It didn't come.
They
with
didn't
it.
know
It
you
didn't
then.
come with a headset.
I don't know.
Playing Manhunt, the original Manhunt with a headset, is the deal.
But I think
Sony
what
has a-
about, wait, to Target rather than Manhunt.
Yes.
A top executive at Target completely misunderstood what the fuck the problem was.
Right.
Of course.
And acted upon it. And B, because retail is getting under fire about video games and they're the ones that get in the neck, they decided suddenly they're conservative about this stuff.
Right.
They'll sell you anything until something they don't understand happens, and then they make this like crazy fucking gesture about a game they know nothing about.
Right. Is there any doubt that I could walk around right now at Target and find a copy of Hostel or Saw?
Or
Right.
Saw or any of that.
You know what?
shit.
I had this thought the other night. So, what do you guys think about this? Right now, we have a rating system for movies, which is a very accepted MPAA standard, right? And then we have the ESRB, which is constantly under fire. Is there any chance that we could ever have a coming together betwixt the two, such that video games were rated on a system that people understood, which was the MPAA system of G, PG, NC-17, R?
Okay, here's what.
No, what?
I
What
don't
kind of
think-
order did you just
I-
go in?
PG-13 R.
NC-17
NC-17.
Did I mistake
Yeah.
those?
Yeah.
Triple
Yes.
triple
But that's
X.
okay because we don't know what kind of
What were you
movies
gonna say,
you're watching.
Simon?
Whatever.
I was going to say that I think the problem here
That's
is,
what people relate to.
Yeah, but I think the problem is there is still this deep suspicion about the effect of interactive entertainment as
Yeah.
opposed to
And
passive
that it's
entertainment.
different.
And I
Passive,
think
passive
that,
versus
and I
active.
think that's the problem because
It's
not about 'cause-
absurd.
no. Well, you could look at a game and say it has this, and this in it, and give it a rating. Yes, you could. But I think the problem for a lot of people out there is that there's this kind of suspicion still that it's somehow different, and people can't quite put their finger on it. And I think until we get us a better handle on how this affects us, it's going to be very difficult to equate the two, the movies and the games. I think I would love us to, but I have to say I think that's maybe the problem. It's not like content versus this content. It's everyone suspects there's something different.
It's a lack of understanding.
You know what? There is something different. Work me into your equation. I enjoy playing.
Different.
I enjoy playing Resident Evil, even up to Resident Evil 4. But I will avoid Saw and Hostel like the plague because I don't want to see that. It deeply disturbs me.
I do like torture porn, and
that's what it is. That's what it is. It bugs me, dude. It fully bugs me. Like that stuff gets. Like
it's just a movie, dude. It's
I
not
see
real.
Hostel, and it's in my head, and I'm like, my God, that shit fucks with my head.
But that's fine, though. It's not really about that either. It's not like whether you like it or not, whether you're into it or not. It's just.
But is it that the argument about the interactive entertainment is that it gets in your head and it messes with your head?
People should be allowed to see whatever. I mean, if it can be created, if it's art. Who are we to say something is not allowed?
Because
I agree,
this is where it comes down, is that the ratings job is not to tell you that you can or you can't do something. It's to tell you what is in it so you go into it more informed. Right. That's what it's all about. You know what to expect. If it says M on it, it's designed for 17 and over. If it says AO on it, and it's absurd that people won't carry AO games.
A rating system should not be a censorship system.
It's not. It's an informing system.
But however, I think Target as a corporation is in their perfect right to say we don't want to carry this type of product.
But even if the
even
if the product on these store shelves is innocuous,
but hang on, we've had that with magazines and companies like Walmart. Where we've known if we do a certain kind of a cover that's very sexual, for example, like, I don't know, like the Dead or Alive girls, like some of that stuff, it's been like, I don't know, Walmart might not stock this issue.
But they do stock guns.
Well, right. Yeah. I mean, hey, I didn't say there was any shortage of hypocrisy out there.
30-06, no problem, brother. Come on down.
No problem with that.
Yeah, but this is the United States. They're allowed to do that.
Well, hell yeah, it's the United States, lady. We's going to go out and get us some guns and kick some ass.
Why are you making fun of where I'm from?
Yeah, you know what? And
you used to ride around and pick up and shoot deer from the highway, didn't you?
I used to ride around the back of a pickup, actually.
And shoot deer from the highway.
All right, deer from the highway. What's next on our list?
Jane's like, moving right along.
Guys, I'm hungry. Come on.
Yeah, I am hungry too. I agree. Sony announced some PlayStation Network announcements for the fall. There's a second set of whatever.
Wasn't firmware 2?
Is
that's
out.
What I have right here. So firmware 2
is that the scribbly looking one?
Firmware 2 is interesting to me because wasn't this the one that was going to make Xbox? Not Xbox. Wasn't this the one that was cross media bar ubiquitous?
Right. Everyone was hoping that 2.0 would have XMB in game,
but it's not
cross friend invites. But they're waiting until Home comes out now.
So let me ask you then. If Shane, we'll put you in the role of PlayStation Defender.
Sure.
Why would you call this 2.0 then?
Well, it's the next. It's the next number.
Haven't they run out of numbers on the 19s?
It's the next. It's the next number in the mathematical sequence.
They could have called it 1.9387654.
While it lacks the.
Have you seen the firmware on my Nokia phone? It's like crazy numbers.
Let me move along with the story. While it lacks the cross media bar in game and the cross game invites, it does add you can customize your own cross media bar and you can turn your PS3 on and off via remote play, which is really cool because otherwise
that is cool.
You had to leave your PS3 on all the time.
Didn't what's his name show us that to us at CES last year?
Yeah, Howard Stringer.
Right.
Yeah.
Sir Howard Stringer.
Sir Howard Stringer. Didn't he show that to us at CES last year?
It's good they've finally done it.
It's about time.
Anyone here going to use it?
I don't have a PS3.
I hope to use it. I have not had the.
I like the idea of it, but I don't keep any media on my PS3 and have no desire to. So.
The PS3 is the best media center console. I mean, it really is a better center.
What?
Oh, it is.
What?
We won't get into this now, but I'm right.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I'm.
I'm
right, and everybody agrees with me. Actually.
Oh, okay. Yes, everybody agrees. Of course they do because of your short hair.
No, because I'm right.
You are not right, dude. You are not right.
I'm right. Let's move on.
Okay. Anyway,
I'm right.
One thing Kaz wasn't her right about, which would be backwards compatibility.
Did you just say Kaz wasn't her right?
That was awesome.
Yeah.
One thing he wasn't her right about.
He wasn't her right.
Kaz her right about. Nice.
Yes.
Nice guy.
Kaz her right.
He wasn't her right about backwards compatibility, which is he's now saying that it's very important for users to be able to play PS3 games on the PS3. So our top priority is to give them that ability.
It's very important for people to be able to play PS3 games on a PS3.
Yes. backwards compatibility.
This is just Garnet.
This isn't really a
Kaz.
new news story. What you're getting at is Kaiser's reasoning for removing backwards compatibility
Yes.
with PS2 from the 40 gig, and this
That
is
is
the
true.
same thing we've been hearing for the last 6 weeks. It's nothing new.
We've
We've been down this road.
in Weekly Famitsu, he once again repeated this same line. Dude, I'm sorry, I'm not that willing to let him off the hook.
Well,
here's my problem.
It's the
Here's
company
what I
line
want-
that they're going with, and you just expect him to go against it.
Here's-
Like we've
I don't.
voiced our opinions
Here's
about
my
this on
problem
the show.
with this. I picked up a Sunday edition of the newspaper, and it had ads from Circuit City and Best Buy, in which the 40 gig PS3 was featured prominently,
Right.
especially because people are coming up to holiday purchases, right?
Right.
And nowhere in there does it make any mention of the fact that it doesn't play PS2 games.
Well, why would it?
Well,
Why would people expect
most
that, though?
most advertisements for products tell you what they don't do. You're right, Garnet. You're so smart. So smart.
All right.
You know what? I will make the argument this. I don't have a problem with them saying it only plays PS3 games, but the reason that they need to say something is that they've established a track record with PS2 that they have backwards compatibility.
You go out,
they argued
go
for
out into a store and ask anyone
They give a
about
shit.
this, if they even know. Most people don't even know what the words backwards compatible mean.
Yeah.
I still think it's shady. I still think it's deceptive. I still think it is them selling.
It's not shady or deceptive. I mean, there is a version on the market that has all
Fuck
these
me, it
features.
is not.
No, it's not.
It is
They did
too.
they did what they had to do to get the price down, and
You are.
they can
they had
sell.
to do is to get the price down. They got
They
it down to
can-
$400.
well, do I
Oh my
think-
God! It's
do I-
only $400 now. I'm sorry. It's all right.
Let's
It's only
not-
$400.
that's enough
$400 is affordable.
Let's-
Totally affordable.
let's move on.
Totally affordable.
Let's move on.
No, let's not move on.
let's-
Well,
it's not
I
right.
think you've kind of exhausted this one, Garnet.
Yeah, I really do too.
It makes
Yeah.
me very angry. It makes me very angry because I think that there are people, I think there are parents who are going to buy PS3 for their kids who think that they're going to be able to play their PS2 games and they're going to get it home.
Got it. Can we be forwards compatible? Can we just
Yes.
go to the next news story? Thank you. Jesus.
Cory Barlog is leaving SCEA. And in the process of his leaving, guess what? They're making God of War 3. Oh, so
Yeah, what's weird is that they hadn't actually announced God of War 3 until they announced that Cory Barlog was.
Well, but we all know, like, the reason that Corey left.
Hey, by the
and
way, they're not making any
reason-
more Halo games either.
I mean,
Right.
that's the thing. They don't want to work on another God of War. They've done it. And that's the problem with the whole franchise system.
Yes, it
that's
is.
why Bungie left Microsoft. They were like,
Well,
fuck it, we don't want to
Yeah,
work
that's
on
part of why
another
Bungie
Halo.
left. And I'll
Yeah.
tell you another big reason Bungie left Microsoft was that they want the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When their game makes $380 million,
They're like, oh,
they want a
hey.
huge
But this also
chunk
came
of
up.
that.
This also
not
came up in
a
relationship to
tiny
the
piece.
Psychonauts argument. I mean, the one little image of Psychonauts on the website for Double Fine, and everyone thought, "Oh my God, they're going to make a new Psychonauts."
What
and
does this have to do with anything?
not
No,
not,
wait,
not,
though. You
not
know what?
doing the same
You know
thing
what?
over
We are,
again.
we are though in a blockbuster-driven business now.
Yes.
That's true.
and that impacts the creative teams because
Yeah.
they are expected to keep it up, to keep it going. I mean, it's like these guys that do movies. It's like, yep, you got to do another Spider-Man. Why? Nobody wants
This is
one.
what I like what Stephen Tortillo was talking about whenever he was here 3 weeks, months
3 weeks ago.
where I think we're fast approaching the point in video games where remakes are really going to be a viable
thing, yeah.
Because rather than exhausting the creativity on trying to come up with something new, let's go back and make something really good from the past look a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that's still not looking any better is the price on the PS2, and I don't know why that hasn't gone down yet. Apparently, no one's willing to confirm that it's going to go
Aren't
down.
we getting the nearly empty one here at some point? Like someone said, the new Japanese one's even lighter.
I think the reason
it weighs nothing
I
now.
think the reason the
You
price
can, like,
had-
throw it in your pocket.
Yeah, I mean the SingStar
Oh, PS2.
the SingStar bundle is a really good deal actually if you think about what you're getting. But
You are such a Sony cocksucker
No, have you seen-
sometimes. It's so funny.
No. It's not that. He just loves karaoke. That's
no,
all.
the fact that it comes with
Fine.
Garnet.
The PS2 bundle with
Like-
SingStar is so good. I want more of it.
Do you want to hear what I have to say, Garnet?
Yes.
If you buy that bundle that came out this week, the PS2 is like ostensibly $79.99 in that bundle.
That's a good deal. Why is it not $99.99 yet?
Because it's still selling more units than a lot of systems out
Okay.
there.
It's still
And-
selling more than the fucking PS3.
And,
That's- there you go.
there's
That's
all
the real
There's all
answer,
the
right?
rumors of like a new version next year. So
Yeah.
We actually
that
have this
would make
confirmed.
sense to have the new price point with the new version.
But here's the disappointment. In Japan and Europe, they've already confirmed that there will be a new unit. The new unit is going to have the power supply built into the box, but it's not going to look any different. So you
Okay.
get a new slim PS2 for the same price with the power supply built in. I'm sorry. I think it should be $99.99. I think it should be $99.99.
Well, then don't buy one until
Okay.
it is.
Oh, well, I have 2 of them, so whatever. There you go.
It's the most exasperated I've ever seen Shane.
And
I gotta say, Garnet's in rare form tonight.
All right, what's next?
We're into the Microsoft portion of the
Oh,
program.
good. I have some things to talk
Yeah,
about.
yes.
I have
Shane
some-
has juicy rumors.
Hold on. We'll wrap up
on.
with Shane's juicy rumors.
All
First of
right.
all,
I wanna
Microsoft
hear
is going to be bringing a very interesting parental control.
The timer? It's awesome,
Yes.
awesome idea.
Oh,
It is a really
you
good
can
idea.
Limit how long they play.
This
This
is-
is, I mean, with the thing, my new thing, the question that comes up from parents the most is, like, how long is too long? And how do I control it?
So let me give you the quick rundown. Launching presumably with the dashboard update in December will be the 360 family timer. This will allow parents to set either per day or per week the number of hours that a gamer tag is allowed to play on the console.
So we can have more kids.
I have
so,
to do that for myself.
so we can have more Halo 3
Seriously.
kids threatening to
Maybe
kill
you
their
do.
parents.
Well,
Is that what we're gonna have because of this?
Buying hit people, yes. I'm sorry, Mom. If you don't give me some more hours on my game time, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
But that's an interesting point, actually. Like, parents could negotiate that stuff with their kids in
It's
lieu
very
of, like,
negotiable. Big
allowance or
negotiation
other
point, yeah.
things. They're like, okay, well, this week you've been
It's
pretty
like
good. so I
TV
can
time
take
when
You
we
know
were
what? You know what
kids.
this takes me back to? I remember in
Yeah.
in about 1988, 89.
Or time outside of the cupboard.
Yeah.
For NES, they came out with a lock, a physical lock you placed on the NES.
Nintendo took that to heart for part of their press policy, actually.
Yeah.
And they never let go of it. What do you know?
You're right.
Yeah.
Lockbox.
Physical locks.
Interestingly
Good old
enough, this is
lockbox.
actually a joint program also with the PTA, or the Parent Teachers Associations. This is a really so John. This really speaks to you. How in your new place in the video game world do you view something like this?
I think it's awesome. I think everyone should be doing this. And I think the disappointing thing is it's only Microsoft.
I think as someone who used to play games as a kid, I think it's bullshit, and I'd be really pissed off
Oh,
if
come
my
on.
parents did that to me. Actually, like,
but
come on, no.
as a
But
kid-
Shane.
And you know what? You might not be so white if you ever got outside a little bit.
Right, but
Oh!
I have a better tan than you. B,
Don't think so.
no,
They're tan.
No, but Shane, I mean, parents used to do that anyways.
B,
though.
By the way, I've got
Wow.
banana boat tan in the bottle all
Wow.
over.
B,
Yeah.
like you were a kid. Did you want your parents to tell you how much you could play games? No, I didn't.
Did your parents let you?
But that's the role
I
of
could
the
play
parent.
whatever I
Did
wanted.
they let you? Did they let you watch as much TV as you wanted?
Yes, I have my own TV. I have my own games. I
Well
turned out
then.
fine.
Well,
Me
you were-
too, actually.
you
I
were
had-
Oh,
I had my
did
own
you?
stuff. I had my own
spoiled,
stuff.
Did you really turn out
spoiled
fine?
brand.
It was crap though. My TV was rubbish. It was
Well,
a little
yeah.
black and white
Same
TV.
here.
Yeah, it was shit.
You poor thing. I feel terrible for you. Xbox Live is turning 5 years old this year. Is that a bit hard to believe, actually?
Yay.
So
Yeah,
we're
it
talking
is.
about PSN, and arguably we've tried very hard to hold PSN to the same standard as Xbox Live. It's easy for us to forget that going through the Xbox experience in 360, this is their second iteration.
PSN is only 1 year old.
They're on their second version. They're coming on their 5th anniversary. If you're interested, Live is a 5, which by the way is like, it's really cool. You use like the 5 as an S. It's really sweet. It's so cool. You put that in the internet. If you go to Xbox.com, you'll be able to see what they're doing.
What are you talking about?
Somebody spike his drink?
No.
They
I
spiked
think-
its whiskey with
I think
more whiskey.
his drink was pure whiskey.
I think they
Do you not ever you
I know
don't-
about
you
lead
don't
speed.
T9.
I know about lead
You
speed.
don't 2.9, do you?
spiked his drink with more
I know about
crazy.
Live is 5, so use the
I mean, we've all
5
been
as the
drinking.
Yeah, yeah,
Really?
yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not being
I'm
stupid.
it's
We get
lean.
it.
Okay, what you got there?
And they also have ESPN
Okay.
coming to them, which will be very much you can
How-
watch.
E5
But
PM?
isn't there a big gap between when the
There is a
game
gap.
is on and then when you can download it?
There is a gap.
It's
However,
not like
if you
right after.
if you are not on cable, if you're not on cable television, have access to ESPN, but you have
Yeah,
your
because a lot of
internet
people, a lot of people
somehow.
out there have Xbox 360s and pay for Xbox Live Gold accounts and don't have ESPN and want to download football games on their Xboxes. That's right. Yeah.
It's completely strange.
I don't pay for it.
It's completely strange. However, if you do that, you can now watch ESPN content through Xbox Live.
or you can go on the web and see what the score is since the game's already over,
All right, so I have one for you, Mr. Fanboy. Persona 3 gets its own anime.
which is awesome.
And you are so happy.
Wait, why is
you
that
are,
awesome?
because
Shane?
the same
He
character-
loves Persona 3.
I
Have you ever
love-
heard him talk about Persona
I
3?
love Persona.
No,
He
I
is
have
Persona.
not.
How could we hear him talk about Persona 3 because you won't shut up, Garnet?
What's cool about this is the
Well said.
It's my goddamn show.
Jane.
Oh!
Yes.
Cool about the
Yes, Shane, tell me.
What's interesting?
It was Jane's show first, and now it's my show. It's there.
What's
Shane
notable
speaking.
about the Persona 3 anime is that the same character designer who worked on the game is working on anime. And that doesn't usually happen. So
It does look really
it's
nice.
really going to match the style of the game, and it takes place like after the events of the game. It starts in January. It'll probably come out in America. So
Is it called Persona 3 or is it called Shin Megami Tensei?
what do you got there? I don't know.
I honestly have no idea. It's
no, it has a new name. It's like Persona something.
4.
It's set 10 years after the events portrayed in the PS2 game and will center around 3 brothers in a future city where the dead have risen with their skins turned inside out.
Yeah.
Ew.
That's the press release?
Yes.
God, that's awesome.
And that sounds really gross.
And
You know, I was having a good day, and then I woke up, my skin was turned inside out.
That's
Damn.
unfortunate.
You know?
Yeah.
Fuck all, it's going to be a disaster now.
It's like Kafka.
I can't put my
but
clothes on. It
worse.
hurts.
All right, on the subject of Hertz, I want to be back to serious just for one moment, which is that on wrapping this all up, the Child's Play charity drive for 2007 has kicked off. And if you have not participated in this before, I will bring you a personal recollection, which is that my stepdad, who has who actually had leukemia and has successfully had a bone marrow transplant and recovered, I had the opportunity to spend a month in Seattle. I was in a hospital, a cancer hospital that had benefit from Child's Play, and it is positively amazing the impact that you can have, not just for the cancer sufferers, but the thing you might not think about is if you are a child whose parents have leukemia and you're stuck in this hospital, it is a horrible experience. It is a very, very bad experience.
Very depressing.
And the opportunity just to go to a hospital room and sit with your parent and play Mario, Sunshine, or Super Mario Brothers 3, or whatever it might be on a game console, it gives you that little snapshot of time where the rest of the world is okay and you're just hanging out with your parent and it's okay, and that is why Child's Play is such a good thing and you should participate.
Well,
How do you do that?
You would go to childsplay.org, and it's very easy now. They actually have partnered with Amazon, and they have this is a sophisticated thing. This is now in its 3rd year, and I've supported it.
It's been very successful too.
I've supported it year in and year out.
Like the Penny Arcade guys are behind it.
It uses the Amazon the wish lists and gift lists. So there's a
This
bunch
is
of
first
stuff
for
that
this year.
they've pre-selected. So you can go in and it's a little you go in and you choose the thing that you want to buy, and can you elect which hospital it goes to as
You
well?
absolutely can this year. So they've used the Amazon wish lists so that you can go in through your Amazon account. You can buy toys off of kids' wish lists, give them to them for a Christmas present. It is positively one of the most fantastic, good things you can do as a gamer this year. And I don't know what else to say other than if you're a corporation or if you represent a corporation right now, Kay Lindsay at penny-arcade.com.
Oh, Kristen, yeah.
That's
I
her
love her. Yeah.
That's her email. That's the person you should contact to talk about what kind of contribution you can make. And for all the silly screwing around that we do on this show and everything else, this is something serious. It's a very real thing. The strides we've made forward in cancer treatment are amazing. We're to a point now where treating people's emotions and their family situation is as much an important part of it as the medical part. Please help. Please do your part. Go out there and do something good.
Well said.
And that's the end for this show,
Wait,
folks.
I didn't get to say my hot rumors.
Oh, yeah, your hot rumors. Hot
rumors.
Oh, by the way, you have Lindsay Lohan and Paris Hilton, and
What about them?
I don't know. Are they working for Microsoft?
I love them, but no.
Are they still working for Microsoft? Because someone else might not be.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into exacting detail because these rumors haven't been confirmed, but they're definitely swirling around. And they're probably going to break next week. So a little preview of what you might be seeing next week. A big Microsoft first-party title that's been in the works for a very long time that people are very excited for. Sounds like it's being canceled. And a Microsoft executive who is pretty high up, who's been a voice for the company, sounds like he's on the way out. That's all I'm going to say.
And that would be possible.
That's it? No
That's
more
it.
details?
I don't want to give the details. I want people
Come
to.
on.
Well, you can say whatever you want, Jane. I can't stop you.
I'm asking you.
How solid are these rumors?
Rumors
Do you
are
feel pretty
rumors.
confident about these?
I
You
would
just
give
can't say anything
I would
yet,
give
or is
these
it like-
rumors like a 97% chance of
Simon,
Holy
rumors
shit,
are rumors.
wow.
Do you ever watch The Soup?
Okay.
Rumors are rumors. I mean, they are what they are. You take them, you leave
Where
them.
did you find these
I
rumors?
love the soup.
from all over.
The Soup is fantastic. You know what else is fantastic?
They watch it so you don't have to.
That's right.
Exactly.
I love the soup too.
So do I.
have a huge crush on the host.
It's my favorite.
Joel,
It's all our favorite show.
Yeah.
I wish I could be him because then you would have a crush on me.
I have a huge crush
Boards.oneup.com
on
is where you
Mankini.
should come to talk to us. Simon, you'll be watching Boards.oneup.com, right?
Oh,
What? Who?
Simon, he posts there every day.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
You Boards.
He's got like
Our
5
message-
usernames.
Our message boards.
Oh yeah, I'm all over.
Yes.
Absolutely,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's what we were
I've got
talking
nothing better
about.
to do.
Right. That's where you're going to be next week. It's going to be Shane, myself, Mark McDonald, and the one, the only
Marky Mark.
Mark will be back, and
I miss that guy.
Newsweek's Nguy Kroll.
Nguy's
I love
Guy's
Nguy.
awesome.
He's so smart.
That's right.
Yeah,
and
I
then,
love him too.
And then coming up for Black Friday, we're going to do a special Black Friday retailers / go shopping kind of thing. We're going to do Nintendo 360 or Xbox. Well, this was really 360, right? And PlayStation. We've got all kinds of stuff planned for the holidays. Anything you want us to do, tell us at boards.oneup.com. Otherwise, until next week, for Garnet Lee, Jane Pinkard, Simon Cox,
Bye.
John Davison, Shane Bettenhausen. Thanks very much for listening. We appreciate it, and we are Ghost.